Hello, everybody, and welcome along to Fire Them Cannons. As you can see in my title, what a massive bomb dropped by the GOAT, by David Ornstein, which is why it holds water. If this was anyone else, I don't think I'd be getting as excited about the idea. The fact that it broke by David Ornstein tells a lot. So we're going to get into a lot of this stuff. By the way, Arsenal did officially announce Zolis. I do want to take at least 2 minutes to acknowledge that, play his intro video, all that stuff. Then we're going to talk about VINI because it's a big one. Me and Cal were literally both of us. I think admittedly we were like freaking out over the last week in terms of what the fuck is going on. But I think the VINI thing, maybe we can all get into put on our tinfoil hats and kind of say what we think about that. But I think the VINI thing has calmed us down a little bit. We're going to get into Bruno because Bruno is a very interesting topic. There was a big bid. Well, we can call it big in the old days. Now it seems a little bit underneath the valuation for Newcastle. So we'll talk about that. The Julian Alvarez links just won't go away. So we're going to talk about Julian Alvarez as well. And of course, we're going to take a look into kind of how we're maybe feeling like this whole thing can start to look together. Because I feel like the Vinny Jr. thing gives us a good idea in terms of why Arsenal have been behaving the way they have in the window. Anyway, make sure you're liking and you are subscribing to the channel. But first, as always, by the way, there's a potential that Jake comes in. I've sent him the link. But as always, my boy Cal in the building for our transfer show. Buddy, we've been texting back and forth all week. Will this happen? Will this won't happen? Kind of what we were doing last week's show. How you feeling today, my friend?
Good. And guys, if you think we kind of argue a lot in the show, we argue a lot more off the show in terms of how we get pretty heated, going back and forth, just trying to think of what's the plan, what's the strategy. I'm more of a doomer. Anton is more of a hoper.
But you know what? The doomer almost pulled the hoper into the fucking fire about yesterday morning.
Yeah, because we won't do anything.
Because at the end of the day, guys, I am still, as much as I'm a very positive person, I like to believe I'm a little bit balanced. Like I can't deny things that I'm seeing. And if things start to not progress in the way that I'm hoping, it gets a bit frustrating. But yeah, we're going to get into so many of these topics now. But first, I do feel like we need to pay some. I'm actually can I go full screen on him or not? Maybe I can. Yeah. I want to pay a tribute because while we're arguing and complaining about who or won't we sign this or that, Arsenal actually did unveil a signing this week. And it was obviously, as everyone kind of knows, it was Christos Zolis. Well, let's take a look.
Practice makes perfect. Doing it over and over and over again. Till it's all you know. Energy, instinct, end product. This thing's a numbers game. And we just upped ours.
There you go. Everything is a numbers game, and we just upped ours. Cal, what do you think? Just the signing, Christos Zolis. We've had a whole show when he was a Here We Go. By the way, big up to Tyrell every single time. And big up the chat and everybody. This is going to be, as it starts to get, further on the show, I imagine all you guys will come in here. It's going to be a fun show. This will be a very fun show, but we had to talk about just the announcement a little bit. What do you think?
I mean, I think that's once we saw what he was like, the numbers, because I admit I didn't really know anything about him. So once you Google him and then you see what he scored in that league, the Belgian league. It's a numbers game, and he's definitely, with numbers like that, these are the types of unknown gems that we should be signing for backups. So yeah, I do think when you're scoring them at a clip at he is, I think it really is something special. And as I'm saying, unlike the Gyökeres one, he's not really relying on pure physicality, overpowering his opponents to score the goals. Because I mean, when we saw Gyökeres do it, a lot of his goals is because he was so much stronger than everyone in the Portuguese league. But and the Prem is just the biggest, baddest defenders on earth, just in the Prem. You know what I'm saying? So Zolis, you watch his comps and you see how he scores and stuff, he can score. So I think it was a really good signing, and I think he's a perfect type of replacement I would want for Trossard.
Yeah, amazing. Well, start off with Trossard. That's the replacement. Now, we've been talking about mostly the replacement for Gabriel Martinelli. And if I could upgrade from one Brazilian winger to another Brazilian winger, I don't think I could upgrade any further than Vinicius Jr. And let's just wait. Oh, did I pull it off? I need to add it back onto the screen. Shares the screen. Where is he? Here we go. Then Vinicius Jr., right? According to David Ornstein, this was the BOMBA. This is what I'm like referring to everywhere. I actually made fun of it earlier so basically everyone knows me and Cal, our friend Seb, who's been on the show before. By the way, if you think I'm an optimist, he's even more optimistic, and I got to give him credit. Got to give him credit for this, because when I doubted, I'm a positive guy, but I didn't even ever think that Arsenal was seriously in for Vinny Jr. I always kind of felt like he's out of our league. Like, there's no fucking chance I'm going to be sitting there believing and hoping on Vinny Jr. It's like a pipe dream for me. But last night, before I was going to bed, in fact, me and my missus were watching a movie. She didn't like that I all of a sudden stopped paying attention to the movie. But anyone in here will know why, because then this comes up. Arsenal exploring move to sign Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. AFC interest is at an early stage. Clubs not yet in talk, but idea approved at all levels. Much rests on contract processes, no breakthrough yet, and Real Madrid do not want a free exit. So that key part is I want to break this down a little bit, Cal, because there are a lot of really important points in here. And by the way, literally, Ornstein, in terms of being the transfer master, is the master of constructing a tweet. So he says, in only a few sentences, everything you need to know.
He's a pro. No waffling.
Yeah.
He's a pro. It's so much to digest.
Yeah, absolutely. And only 4 lines of text?
Yeah.
Insane. So obviously we know, firstly, I think this is important, Vinny Jr. is on the target list. So Arsenal are interested in Vinny Jr. I think we should also explore what other clubs could be interested if the scenario comes in, because I think that's important, because I also believe, and I think there are a lot of people saying, Arsenal the only ones that he would go to if he go. I'm like, if the rest of the football world knew Vinicius Jr. was available for transfer, I cannot believe Arsenal's the only team that's going to want him.
Arsenal's the
you kind of agree on that line of thinking?
Dude, everyone would want him, but do you have the funds, and are you attractive enough, and is that what you actually need? We can go down the list right now if that's how you want to start the conversation.
Well, we're at that part of the sentence, so let's do it.
Okay, we go the most attractive people right now besides Real Madrid, and he's at Real Madrid. He'll never go to Barca. That will never happen.
PSG, but they have
Kvaratskhelia. That's not happening. Okay, you go down the list. Liverpool. Tweets came out that first of all, Liverpool have a plethora of left wingers, and they need someone to play on the right. So buying Vinicius Jr. to play him on the right is a bad idea.
And I think they feel they have a free run at Barcola if we get Vinny.
And even if it wasn't, reports just came out that said that Vinicius Jr. reached out to Liverpool and they said we're not interested. So they already kind of didn't want Vinicius anyway. Manchester United, you're having a laugh. Not only can they not afford him, but he's not leaving Real Madrid to not play they're playing Champions League. Yeah, they're playing Champions League, but come on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not like Michael Carrick. That completely. I don't think he's going to play for an inexperienced manager. I don't think Honestly, Manchester United's attack right now. Wait, they were looking at left wingers, weren't they? But I honestly don't believe they have the funds to do something like
I
that.
don't think Man United, I don't think it's smart. Like Terry said this actually yesterday when I was on the show. It's not smart for Man United to do it for where they are now. Man, like to buy a Vinicius Jr., by the way, involved an insane amount of wages, involves carving a place for him in the team, which makes him the talisman. Like, and right now, and he's also, by the way, he's a maverick, and he's probably a bit of a mercenary in terms of his where he in order to keep Vinny Jr. happy, you're going to need to have a great team around him and be ready to win right away.
Yeah, they're still trying to establish their structure. I mean, to be honest with you, I think they probably could put the money on the table for him. But honestly, if they go for him, I think it'd be like you said,
it would be a continuation of their bad habits over the last.
But
they're trying to stay away from this.
But honestly speaking, if it's between us and Manchester United right now, I don't think he's going to choose Manchester United. So
City, I think they got Semenyo and Doku. I think it's
yeah.
The one that does come to mind, but I've just realized the reason why not is Bayern, because
they don't have the money.
No, but this is also what's the complication. Real Madrid want Michael Olise, and Bayern have told them absolutely no. If Bayern came in to try to get Vinny, you know exactly what Real Madrid is going to try to do.
Yeah, I mean that's
not something they're willing to sign.
But why would Bayern give up Olise?
They wouldn't. But that's what Real Madrid are going to ask for.
Yeah.
They'd be like, okay, that's interesting. You want Vinny, but we want Olise, and that's where the conversation ends.
So to be honest, realistically, Bayern and Manchester United are probably two of the clubs that could potentially go in for him, but they're still suboptimal to what Arsenal could probably provide and bid, And all these other clubs, like for example, Manchester City, they've already spent a lot of money, and they already have Erling Haaland on over 500K a week. Like
they couldn't fit.
Are they really gonna spend over $1 million a week?
Look what City are doing, by the way. Like,
Vinicius and,
by the way, they don't have the pull of a Pep Guardiola anymore for the player's perspective, right? Because there's two sides to this. But also, you're right. If you're noticing that City, we were actually talking about this off stage, right? Rodri's linked with a move actually towards in the other direction. They're kind of getting younger, looking at Al Anderson, Buwadi. They've just extended Kuzanov. They've just extended Foden. They're preparing for something that I don't think aligns with what Vinny Jr. is preparing for in his career.
I mean,
you get what I'm saying? And also, I don't know if he fits in the wage structure. Yeah, you can't have Haaland.
I think the wages are probably the big ones. To be honest, City are pretty ruthless. I wouldn't be surprised if they just say,
imagine paying over $1 million a week just for two players.
Yeah, but for me, that's the biggest thing. I think you could have probably one of them, like in terms of, unless you're Real Madrid, in terms of, I don't think a lot of people can afford him. I mean, to the point where Vinicius Junior's wage demands, like even Real Madrid aren't willing to accept them. So,
look, maybe that's it. Maybe these are all things that Arsenal have calculated and been like, if he becomes available, we've got a serious shot. As long as I feel like this, and this is, by the way, getting to the next point. Okay, a part of it being in an early stage, I believe that. I believe we've only really started exploring this deal once we missed out on Rodgers. But I also believe, and I'll just bring this up and just say it straight out. I also believe that Arsenal were looking at this situation with him in the contract and being like, there's always a chance that avenue comes available, and we don't want to already have be taken in a certain way or have used that budget for that we could use on Rodgers already, which is why they were willing to go, okay, we're willing to go to a certain amount with Rodgers, but after that, no. Maybe there was a world where they could have gotten Rodgers, like similar to like the Barcola and Rodgers thing that I was talking about, right? They could have gone to 100 with Rodgers or something they felt comfortable with.
Once it got to 117.
and then instead of the Barcola gone on the Vinny, right? But I think once it got into that 117, I feel like Arsenal's like, nah, sorry, that just we don't want to close ourselves off to the possibility because well, I should finish my sentence, to the possibility of getting Vinny. And even on other shows, and it's actually funny because a lot of people are now seeing it, and I got to credit to a lot of our content creators. Mo and Sam were on there being like, why should Arsenal pay 130? This was before when they thought we were going to get him. Why should Arsenal pay 130 for Rodgers when that money could get you the best left winger in the world? No, but originally when they were talking Villa's quote,
oh yeah, 130.
Why would Arsenal pay 130 when 130 could also get you the best left winger in the world theoretically if it was available?
And by the way, we are saying the early reports are saying that Madrid want 160 million euros for Vinicius, which is 136 million pounds, which is 6 million more than the asking price for Rodgers, which is absolutely ridiculous, by the way.
So yeah, I'll play the other one. That's what the one you sent me, on the screen. So yeah, Arsenal. This is, by the way, I've started to pick up a lot of different tweets afterwards just to kind of crystallize this picture a little bit, because I feel like a lot of us are still trying to learn as much as we can on the deal to kind of understand.
The price for Barcola was quoted at a similar tweet like this. I'm just comparing apples and apples. Similar tweet like this came out saying that PSG wanted 150 million euros for Barcola. So this is the kind of bullshit that's coming up in the market right now. 150.
But this one, the valuation for Arsenal matches it. That's the difference.
In terms of value for money, it's way better than anything else. You know what I'm saying? So you're way like 160 for Vinicius is much a better price than 150 for Barcola. It just is.
So this is where Arsenal's the way Arsenal's behaving in the window makes more sense, which is why I'm going to actually
bring up the on stage tweet again, because I think there's something here
bring it back. Yeah, we gotta bring it back. This is the most important tweet. This is the information we know the most
important part
is reliable, right? So is the Arsenal? Yeah, that's right. That's what I was going to get to. But Arsenal have basically they've approved the deal at all levels, and that would be Arsenal's biggest sticking point. They've gone by. I believe. Look, I believe it was probably Arteta and Berta as a combination, a little bit maybe, or mostly Berta. By the way, I feel like fans need to apologize to Berta, honestly. But no, we're getting there. I'm going to get there. They've brought this across to the board. They showed this to the Cronkies, and they're all happy to whatever personal terms that they must be looking at the demands of Vini to Real Madrid, knowing that if we were to sign this player, these are the terms that he's probably going to want from us. There's also a difference, by the way, and I was reading something else in terms of Spanish rules in terms of player image rights. So in Spain, 50% Real Madrid, right, at the moment are own 50% of Vini's image rights, right? Arsenal don't do image rights in England. Players are able to go and do their own advertising, everything like that, all on their own individually in England, right? Their employer does not get 50% of the image of the money they bring in for doing their own personal advertising.
Wait, that's the thing in Spain.
That's a thing in Spain, right?
So the club gets 50%.
So the reason why Vini wants from Real Madrid 600 or 500 to 600 a week is because 50% of his image rights are going to Real Madrid. So he's actually losing money in his personal deals. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was reading all that stuff. I was reading all that stuff today.
You're the goat.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Dude, yeah, no, this is why my girlfriend's always like, Anton, why are you always looking at your phone? And I'm like, well, I'm educating myself a little bit on a lot of this stuff. So Arsenal don't have to pay the Real Madrid asking price, but Arsenal will have to basically do the math and be like, what is Vini earning in general from his commercial deals? Divide that by 50, and that's what he wants. Plus over the top of his current deal, right? That's what he wants. He wants his image rights to be taken account of.
By the way, listen, I'm just reading this again, and it's something I just noticed. He said, interest early stage, clubs not in talks yet, but a deal approved at all levels. That means all this information that you're talking about in terms of Vinny's image rights, and Arsenal have already spoken to his agents, and they know. They're not theory crafting. They know, because Ornstein specifically said the clubs have not spoken yet. No club-to-club talks. So, there's no way David Ornstein would have posted this if Arsenal didn't even contact the players' camp, and we have no idea what he actually wants. And there's no way that this got approved at all levels at Arsenal. We know our board. We know what it's like, how much red tape there is, how much bureaucracy there is. There's no way that gets approved on all levels, but them having a robust understanding of exactly what financially is required to get the player. Because we're not a club that just throws money at stuff. We're not just going to say get him at all costs. We're not that type of club. So we understand all that stuff. And I'm glad you explained it. But that tells me the club actually knows this. So, and I think it makes me a little bit more confident that if Madrid don't, bend the knee, he's probably going to come to Arsenal.
Yeah. And again, this is, look, whether it happens or not, I don't know if I'm ready at that stage yet. I think I want to state something. And by the way, I have a reel coming out that I'm actually editing and I'll put out on our socials after we're done. But I was saying along the lines of this in terms of from an Arsenal perspective, whether or not the deal happens, the fact that Arsenal are now sitting at the table and we are now in a position to be as Cal broke it down for you, the most attractive football club for, let's say, one of the, I said 3 last night on Terry's, to be honest. Sometimes before I say things really quickly before really thinking about it. I didn't have Yamal, for instance, and Kvaratskhelia in that list, right? So I'd say one of the 5 best attackers in the world: Yamal, Kvaratskhelia, Mbappe, Haaland, VINI.
Based on performance for the last year, Kvaratskhelia, based on actual ability and tenure, Vinicius Jr.
Yeah. Dude, and you see, by the way, do you see the way he was carrying that Brazil team? And there's so many avenues.
Yeah.
There's so many things by the way this opens up, and and we'll talk about Bruno later, but I have to imagine Bruno being so set on Arsenal, VINI being an option for Arsenal. They are both teammates for Brazil. Who is also their teammate? Gabriel. I gotta say, I know I said this last night and I gave him a heads up, but I'm sorry. I don't know 100% if it was Gabriel, but I gotta say, bro, he's definitely played a part in this. They were all at the Brazil camp. We heard nothing about Bruno. All of a sudden the Bruno bomb happens after they're 2 games into their group stage. The original Bruno bomb, right?
I think you're giving Gabriel a lot of credit. Honestly,
why not, man? Honestly, all this stuff important.
Because I mean, it's okay, but let's be honest with you. Let's it's not like we're Tottenham. We are one of the most attractive clubs in the world right now.
But surely Gabriel says, "Hey, look."
Gabriel ask, he'd talk about
what's the culture like there? You go, what's going on, man? You guys won the Premier League. What's it like playing for Arteta? People watch football. They want to know what's goes on. What's your coach like?
I don't know if you noticed, but Vinicius Jr. had very positive things to say about Arsenal even before the World Cup.
We also smashed them over 2 legs when we played them. So I think. Yeah.
No, but that wasn't.
To be honest, on the football pitch, by the way, I know everybody's going to get really rage baity this. Anton, you doing it again. On the football pitch over the last 2 seasons, Arsenal have been better than Real Madrid. So from a footballing perspective, he's also upgrading.
I'm talking about this year. I'm not talking about like when we face them in the Champions League. I'm talking about just in general.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in general. It's not because we beat them in a football match. That's why he had positive things to say. I think he genuinely had good things to say about us, just in general, when asked a question about Arsenal. So I think on the world stage, I think Arsenal is attractive enough to get these players. For me personally, I don't know how other people think. I don't know what other people think about Arsenal. I don't know. There's certain fans that have like an inferiority complex.
Do you think it matters what fans think? I think it matters more what players think.
No. I'm talking.
You know what I mean?
Like, I'm just saying, we can get pretty much most players as long as we put the money on the table. A lot of the times, why we're not getting players is because we don't show enough ambition. We don't do what we're doing right now, which is, okay, there's an opportunity to get like a world beater, put the money on the table, and that's what it looks like we're doing now. And it's not, I do not think that it's outside the realm of possibility that Vinicius Jr. thinks that Arsenal is like a place that he would want to come to if things don't work out at Real Madrid. And let's be honest, in terms of Vinicius's performances at Madrid, those only started going down once Mbappe joined the team, because Mbappe gets in the way, because they both drift into each other's spaces. Before the season before Mbappe joined, he won the Champions League, being the best player on the pitch.
Do you also thinking, because I feel like there are some people, I got to give credit to Gal, I got to give credit to Seb, because a lot of these people were saying me Vinny before. And I like to pick up the tea leaves, but maybe I was ignoring some. But you make a really good point. But that leads me up to another question. Now I'm trying to think, and I'm starting to see why people were putting the two together. Why did they bid for Alvarez? Was it just to piss off Barcelona or piss off Atletico Madrid? Because if they essentially, that bid got accepted, oh, well, 150, well, cool. They got Alvarez and they have Mbappe already up front. Then it's like, you're going to put Mbappe on the left.
You talk about Madrid? Oh, that's overthinking.
Yeah, but I'm saying that already kind of tells you that Madrid see that issue.
Did no one believe that? That was always going to be a fake thing.
Okay, but get what I'm saying. But again, if they put that bid in and it was accepted, they're going to start. They're going to start.
They did it in a way to piss them off, like on purpose.
I hear you, right? But the same thing, they did put in a bid, right?
Yeah.
And
I think that
if Atletico Madrid wouldn't have turned around and been pissed off, let's say they shocked them and be like, hey, you know what? 150 accepted, right? I think Real Madrid, given the fact they were like Mr. 150, right? They would have pursued that deal. They would have gone through that deal, right? And that would have left Mbappe and Alvarez in the same team, right? And with a Vinny. And I think that even at that point, they would have sold Vinny.
Fabrizio just posted.
Is it about Diamande again?
Diamande. He's saying
loves him.
Madrid going to bid for Diamande soon, over 100 million euros.
There you go. So that's the other part about purple panel. All right. See, okay, I'm actually going to get this one. I'm going to get this one in there. This is a big one. Goes along the lines of what I was saying.
I love Wenger, bro. He says he doesn't care anymore, man. Wenger said, I think on the Vinicius Jr. signing, he says, I think this wouldn't be like an ordinary signing, but a generational and treble competitive signing for Arsenal when a player like Vinicius Jr. is on the verge of signing for your club. It's like,
ooh, Gary Jacob.
Okay,
see, I don't know. Now everyone's got all these stories on it, which is funny because Gary Jacobs come out saying Real Madrid are expected to resume contract talks with Vinicius Jr. this week, and after Arsenal began exploring the possibility of a deal. But I don't think that part should put Arsenal fans into I think it is what it is. Like, I think they're going to do the earlier they get this shit sorted out. Let's say if Monday, tomorrow, which I think some people are talking, if you believe Indy Kyla, Monday they have a meeting. If they decide, hey, you know what, Vinny, we're willing to go with your package. We'll sign a new contract. Shake on it. Arsenal's like, okay, we lost today. Now let's go get Barcola. Or you get what I'm saying? Like then like, but but if they don't, if that thing falls apart in that meeting and they say, hey, you know what, we're not willing, Real Madrid are going to just be like, you know what,
this meeting is the final meeting. This is the meeting to say if they're going to sell him or not. By the way, Madrid Zone 1 hour ago said Vinicius Junior wants to stay. However, the club has no plans to improve their renewal offer. Like,
no, see, bro,
that's Madrid extra, by the way. That's not coming from our side. This is like Madrid sources now.
And they're not even talking about Arsenal. That tells you the best education, because sometimes these guys. All right, okay, I've got a few of these. So I want to kind of just put the pieces together, because I think we're trying to learn a little bit more about this deal. And yes, this is the main topic of the day. Clearly, this would be our biggest signing ever, not just this season, but like I've never seen Arsenal make a signing this ambitious. All right, this is what the purple panel had to say, and this goes along the lines of what I kind of said already, which is, say, Arsenal are closely monitoring the Vinicius Junior situation as Real Madrid prepare for contract talks this week. Failure to reach an agreement is expected to place Arsenal in a strong position to formalize their interest. Arsenal continue to prioritize a genuine marquee signing, with Vinicius viewed as capable of elevating the project. Image rights remain a significant factor, with Vinicius seeking more control than the current 50% arrangement. Now here's the problem. Here's the problem, Cal. When on all of the research I was doing in the past, go back to Cristiano Ronaldo, go back to Kaká, go back to even Eden Hazard, every Bale, every like massive signing they ever had. It has literally been 50% image rights. Everybody ever in the history of the club. This is Real Madrid. This is not any team that's willing to like got little boys mentality. They have their rules and they've never changed their rules, and they're not going to change them now. That's the way. That's kind of what's giving me theory into thinking this could totally happen. By the way, the images of VINI in the Emirates tunnel, which I find it very interesting. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? So that's the sticking point. Real Madrid have never relented on that part ever in the history of the club.
Oh, this is really good news. Yeah. This is we're scheming. This is really good news, ladies and gentlemen. You could keep your image rights here, buddy. You could keep your money. Yeah, we're just about the football of the house.
We'll give you 100% of your image rights. Where like they'll be like, oh, 70. We'll give you 100, bro. As long as we get your shirt sales, which we will, because that's our shop. We're good for that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we can get our own deals by having a Vinny Jr. in the club that are not specifically advertising Vinny Jr.
By the way, I just want to step back and I just need to say this. When we were promised that the stadium was going to put us on the table with the big boys, they get excited, all the memes, everything. Getting a player like Vinicius Jr. is the culmination of everything. We've won the league. Now it's time to join the conversation. Yo, Mosley, you're a hater. Big ups to you. Yeah. You're a Chelsea fan. Big hater. Big hater, but that's your job. I respect the hustle. You're
so you know who's also not getting Vinny Jr.? You. So.
And to be honest with you, Mosley, I'm going to be honest with you. Let's say, Madrid bends the knee. He signs a contract. The club showing the willingness to go out there and try to get the best targets is what we want as fans. Because we're not every girl you ask the prom is going to say yes, but you have to ask, dog. Like you can't just sit there and be like, oh, yeah, I'm not good enough.
I even said that last night, by the way, Cal, like, and I don't think we've said this today. Oh, he's 100% this is happening. Right. I even said that to Terry. Like, I've only learned about this like 2 minutes ago. Like, it's early stage. I'm not putting all my eggs in the basket and thinking, oh yeah, this is 100% going to happen. Now, do I see reasons why it can? Yes. But I don't think neither Cal or I here are sitting here, especially not Cal. Me, I'm more likely to do that. Cal is a little bit more pessimistic than I, right? I don't think either of us are sitting here and being like, I think 100% of Vinny Jr. is going to come to Arsenal. Right?
Yeah. I don't think there's 100% chances of anything happen. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure Bruno is coming to Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? I want it to happen, you know, but I'm not 100% certain of anything happening right now. But I'm just hopeful, you know. I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful that the
Yeah.
Vinicius thing will. And for me, the club showing ambition to sign Vinicius is enough for me. It's that being approved. That for me, once I heard Ornstein say approved at all levels, tells me this isn't the typical Arsenal exploring bullshit that we usually hear for like a bunch of players. I mean, we're not really that interested. Once I heard approved at all levels, I knew okay, it's time
Arsenal's
to ball.
committed.
It's time to
Arsenal's
ball. You know what I'm
committed.
saying?
We're ready for him to break up with his ex, and we already got an engagement ring picked out and everything, man. You get what I'm saying? Like this is like that's what that is. All right. Speaking of Ornstein, I'll continue on with some of these ones. So obviously, similar message sent by his colleague. We all know him. James McNicholas, Gunner blog goes exclusive. By the way, it was shared, so there was kind of the same report. Arsenal exploring a deal to sign Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. His 3 dot points are candidate to strengthen attack if no Real Madrid renewal. AFC interest approved at all levels with 12 months remaining on the contract. So it's the same sort of points, and I think those are the most important points. We will find out by tomorrow. Hopefully, he rejects to extend and join.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Yeah,
dude. Mostly, there's no way that they like that's delusional. PSG are not signing Vinicius Jr. when they have Kvaratskhelia. They're not benching Kvaratskhelia. Okay, that doesn't even make sense.
So this is where it's very interesting because I do think this deal is different than all other deals we've explored this summer. All other deals we explored this summer, and me and Cal are having arguments privately again about this very point, and that is Arsenal have their valuation. They're not willing to go above their valuation.
Yeah,
but
which has been
and I think that's important.
The thing.
Yeah, but it's important just to clarify that is to set the stall out for most transfer deals we ever do to show that we're not pushovers in the market for in general. Yeah. But this situation is Vinicius Jr. Yeah. If Real Madrid say we want 160 euros, pay the 160 euros and just meet them, and because we really got we basically have all of the personal terms that he's seeking at Madrid ready to rock, right?
Yeah.
And it gets done. Because the only reason why this is different is because not everyone has Vinicius Jr. You can't be like, yeah, we did that for Vinny Jr. We're not doing that for, I don't know, name a player who's available next year. You know what I mean? Like
we're not spending 160 on Morgan Rogers out of position left wing. We're spending it on like the best left winger available in the world.
So John, I have this update, by the way, and that is from this, by the way, thanks to my good friend KJ. So this is, I think you're referring to this one. This is Picon. I don't know, Jorge Picon. I don't know what publication he is, but big enough for KJ to share with me. But again, I feel like none of us thought he wanted out. That's never been the story.
No, that's not the story.
Right?
He wants to stay at Madrid.
Yeah, we all know that. Vinicius Jr. wants to stay at Real Madrid. This is what his entourage is conveying, assuring that his priority remains unchanged, the renewal. Regarding Arsenal, the English club privately confirms its interest in the Brazilian, but sources close to the player also state that to date, no one has gotten in touch with them. I don't know if I believe that part of the statement as per what you were saying with David Ornstein, to be honest, because that doesn't make sense in terms of, from a Ornstein perspective, in terms of why he would put that out with that. Again, intermediaries, all this type of stuff. Newcastle have been doing this shit the whole time as well. Like, you get me? Like, it's always by a technicality. But is a renewal possible? The reality is that at Real Madrid, all scenarios have already been laid out on the table. The renewal remains just as distant as it has for months. And in Valdebebas, there is no intention to improve the offer. In fact, the club conveyed to Vinicius' agent, that while the priority was to renew him in case he wanted to leave, they were open to reaching an agreement for his sale, given that there is increasing real risk of him leaving for free in 2027. Vinicius will return to Madrid at the end of the week with his future hotter than ever, and the countdown officially underway. At the club, some believe there is no longer any way to avoid him entering to that dreaded final year of his contract, although they do not rule out a renewal sometime during the 2026-27
I don't
season.
know how am I supposed to read that and feel encouraged about him renewing. Unless he bends the knee and he accepts the terms, unless he caves, he's gone. That's that's the only thing that's gonna change here. You understand what I'm saying? That there's no way that like Madrid has made their statement clear. They're not breaking that 50%, and he doesn't want to do that. I'm in love with her, but she's not signing the goddamn prenup. She wants my 50%. Literally. That is literally the situation. She wants the 50% and she's not signing the prenup.
So again, by the way, big ups to John and everything. And I'm not saying putting you in this category, but I'll tell you, there are a lot of people, a lot of trolls out there who will read the first part of that statement and be like, he's not leaving Madrid. And just, by the way, just completely just avoid the rest of the article because they can't be bothered reading. And they don't see the other parts to the story, which, you know what I mean? So again, I don't think any of us are saying here at this point that I think is going to happen. Where I will change my mind is when we hear the results of this meeting. And let's say that VINI has said, nope, sorry, not bending the knee. And Real Madrid goes, well, nope, that's it. Real Madrid are going to sell because go back to David Ornstein again, this is a very important detail. This is the very final detail of the original tweet, which is Real Madrid do not want a free exit.
By the way, there isn't a possibility that he just accepts the 50%. Like how Rodrigo was upset with his role. And in the end, he kind of huffed and puffed and just stayed at Madrid anyway. That could literally
again, that is what will have to happen. Yeah. That's what we're watching out for. It's not whether or not Real Madrid improve their offer. It's whether or not Vinny Jr. blinks in the staring contest.
Yeah.
Right.
And if Vinny Jr. just accepts the same deal, I don't you can't say Arsenal has no pull or whatever, because it's like he didn't even get a better offer. He just accepted it. So that's not really on us at all. If he just bends to Real Madrid.
In terms of back to the Picon thing, in terms of Arsenal's direct contact with him and his agents, I believe we've reached out via intermediaries, just like we did with Bruno originally, right? I think they will reach out to his agents if this thing falls through, and they'll be the shoulder to cry on. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so sorry that things didn't work out with your ex, but do you want to go out? I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's why you haven't seen Arsenal directly contact his camp. I think that is the nuance here in the facts. That's why we're we have to look around and see the behavior, how we've been going across all the other deals. Intermediaries, people. We all know that. Again, you will sign Neto and you'll like it. Okay, this is very much a Chelsea fan.
Delusion. That's all right.
Yeah. Isaac Obote, follow live from you. You know why Chelsea fans are saying this? You know why Chelsea fans are saying this, Cal? And it's because they were feeling so good that they took Morgan Rogers. And they thought, oh, look at this. We're still the biggest club in London after Morgan Rogers said it. We got all the pool. Even Arsenal champions, we can still get players over them, whatever. Ignoring the fact that they paid over the odds for the player. But if that was Arsenal's last only target and there was nowhere else to go in the market, then yeah. But what pisses them off is that Arsenal can go Vinny Jr. And guess who can't do that? Real Madrid cannot do that. Cal's dropped out here just for a second. And he's back. Yeah. Like that's why Chelsea fans are rattled. You get me, Cal?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, what do you expect?
Oh, I gotta find this. I gotta find this. Wait. Yeah. What do I? Yeah. Again. It's most things. This was the funniest clip. By the way, speaking of Chelsea fans, this actually had me. This had me laughing. Wait, I had this. Wait, can you hear? Wait.
Wait, no, give me a second.
No,
My camera's giving a little bit of trouble.
So this was so funny.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, just yeah, give me a second. I think my camera's just giving a little bit of trouble.
Oh, good. Yeah, this was so funny. Like, so Rory, I saw this. I think via James. I saw James B his Twitter, and I saw that he retweeted this. It's actually so funny. Like, people are gonna melt down if Arsenal get Vinny Jr. By the way, reports are breaking in Spain that Vinicius Jr. wants to stay at Madrid. That is coming from Indy Kyla. Again, say what you want to say about that. Yeah, it's again that is very interesting, right? So okay, Cal. So the Indy Kyla has now come out with his I don't know what you want to fucking call it. I don't even I don't really take the man that seriously. But wait, let me just for shits and giggles, I just want to show you this. And then I'll get back to the Rory Jennings clip, which I think was hilarious. Wait, where is this? Here we go. So he goes, exclusive. Real Madrid call emergency meeting after Arsenal have told them they want to sign Vinny Jr. from Real Madrid. And then he goes 60 minutes ago. Reports are breaking in Spain that Vinicius Jr. wants to stay at Madrid. Now, the question is, there are two ways of determining this, right? Does that mean Vinicius has bent the knee? Or is it, again, like similar reports that we're saying, which is like, he wants to stay at Madrid, but you know what I mean? Like that's only half of the statement.
I mean, if he's using sources from Madrid and we've already seen those sources, it's just the same thing. He's cherry picked the stuff that we've read in more detail, which is he wants to stay at Madrid, but they can't agree on a contract. It's like he's not really saying anything. You know what I'm saying? And you need to understand that, like, accounts like Indy Kyla, they need to put stuff. They need to take snippets of actual information to generate clickbaity tweets so they can get reactions and that sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like what can I pull from this source that will generate the most clicks? He's technically not making something up, but he will omit information to make it more sensational.
Yeah,
they all do that.
Which by the way, I love shit like from IndyCar. Just off the topic, he'll go like, Liverpool in secret talks for Barcola. I'm like, if it was a secret, you wouldn't know about it, and I wouldn't have told 1.5 million people on the internet. So it's no longer a secret. You know what I mean? We do not care about that. We just understand how you so confident you're signing Vinny. I'd love to see him come to Arsenal to do defensive shifts under Teta. Okay. Again, what you guys are in denial about is that Arsenal are currently the Premier League champions, Champions League finalists. So yes, you will like, oh, you have as many Champions League if you want. That's not relevant in the year 2026 to players. Players don't care how many you have won. They look at the situation. Can I win one with you if I play you now? That's what they care about. As Cal broke down, Arsenal's the only team right now at the moment who fulfill his footballing in terms of his footballing ambitions. So they play in the Champions League. They're champions of their current domestic league. They got a good shot of winning the Champions League. Imagine if Vinny Jr. joined Arsenal, Arsenal would be the favorites for the Champions League overnight. We would. We were second last year, right? On a loss to a penalty shootout. If Vinny Jr., which by the way weakens, whether it gets Diamande or not, let's be honest, did I name Diamande in the top 5 best players in the world? No. So it's a downgrade regardless. Real Madrid would have lost Vinny Jr., right? Arsenal would have gained Vinny Jr. and Arsenal only lost to PSG by a penalty shootout, right? He would make Arsenal the favorites for the Champions League. So that people are missing that out when they say, "Oh, why would you want to join Arsenal?" It's like, wake up, right? Rogers clearly cared. Anyway, cool. We'll
You don't leave it like that. The reason why Roger left is because you bid 117 million pounds guaranteed. Okay,
Yeah.
You put the money on the table. That was a really good move, but let's not pretend.
This was the tweet from the hand of and we're going to move back past Vinny and talk about his Brazilian teammate in a second. But Arsenal have internally discussed the signing of Vinny Jr. for some time now. Feasibility, what? Oh, subscribe is different. Wait, am I not? Subscribe is different than follow, right? Yeah. The feasibility is there to do a deal. Some highly influential people are involved in the matter. Very, very early days, but Arsenal are very serious if given the chance to sign him. Lost his sources. See, for me here, he's pointing out to something in a group chat. It looks like WhatsApp background, right? But like, hey, hand, if this is a group chat, can I get in? But yeah, he goes, also in direct contact signed Vinny, no deal yet, but 110,000% it's being discussed. So he's basically trying to kind of regain his cred here by doing this. This was Rodra, so this was a big one. I'll bring up he basically says Arsenal's confirmed its interest in Vinicius Jr. I'll bring up the article that he wrote because I think it better kind of clarifies, and it's not much in this article, but this is kind of shut up, Shaq. And with James, Ollie, and Rodra from ESPN, also interested in Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. and have explored whether a move for the Brazilian international would be possible for them financially. But the situation is at a very tentative stage, sources told ESPN. Vinicius, 26, has just 1 year left on his Real Madrid contract as it stands. Sources have told ESPN that Arsenal are the only possible destination. This is why I brought up Rodra. The only possible destination for Vinicius this summer, if he and Madrid fail to reach an agreement on a new contract and he were to leave. Those same sources also told ESPN that Real Madrid's interest in young Red Bull Leipzig winger Yan Diomande should be reviewed in the context of Vinicius' situation. If there's an opening, should Vinicius not agree a new contract with Real Madrid, then Arsenal would be keen on the player, sources told ESPN. Vinicius scored 4 goals in the 5 games for Brazil 2026 World Cup. Okay, whatever. We know all that type of stuff. He joined from Real Madrid in 2018. None of that is important in terms of the Arsenal side of things. But the only destination is big, and I think that's what gives me, confidence that Arsenal, if he does not bend the knee, I think he becomes an Arsenal player.
Yeah, if he doesn't, yeah, I don't think Madrid are caving, and I think Vinny could cave. I think he could end up just staying because
that's why
we've seen it happen before. But maybe he negotiates. Well, I don't know. Maybe he gets a higher salary, but that 50% Emirates thing definitely is not going away. We'll see. But like I think there's a real chance here.
Yeah. P&B goes, Vinny will stay, but only if he's played as much as Mbappe, which they won't. I don't know if that's I want to know where this information has come from, though, PB.
I don't think that's information. I think that's just a take, and I think that's a pretty good take.
He goes, Vinny hates Rodri and Mourinho. Well, look,
he definitely doesn't like Mourinho.
That would be reasons to not bend the knee, because he's got reasons to be like, well, you know what? I don't really want to play for Mourinho anyway. I don't really like Rodri. I heard something about some comments that Mourinho said that were racist towards him or something along the lines.
No, he didn't. Mourinho didn't say anything racist. It's just when a player said something racist to Vinny, Mourinho backs the player instead of Vinny.
Right. Well, there you go. All right. Well, we'll move on because even though that was a massive, which almost took us most of the show, massive piece of news, we move on to the other piece of news, and that is, and I'm going to just again, I'm not going to bring up the exact thing about the bid, but yes, gonna bid again for Bruno G. And so I think now we're starting to come to the hill. By the way, Bruno G, seeing the VINI shit coming up, that is not helping Newcastle. I'll tell you that much. He's like, I can go play with my boy VINI and Gabriel at Arsenal. Okay. Also could win, like, get VINI Jr., like play with VINI Jr., play with who's the winger that they bought to replace Anthony Gordon, the Ivorian kid. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Whatever his name is,
whatever his name is, right? Play with VINI Jr. No, not well. Yeah, well, you can say Alenga, but no. What's the name of the guy? His name is. Wait, I'll find it. They basically bought Anthony Gordon's replacement. It was during the World Cup. By the way,
it's not outside the realms of possibility.
Bazumana Toure. Do I want to play with Bazumana Toure and Anthony Alenga, or play with Vinicius Jr. and Bukayo Saka? Like,
and by the way, they're probably going to lose Lewis Hall as well if Manchester United is serious.
Well, look, that's not my problem. I just care about if they lose Bruno. But I get you. In
terms of like Newcastle's getting pillaged. They're gonna have to restart the project from scratch. I don't know why Eddie Howe still has a job. Eddie Howe is still the manager for Newcastle United, unserious football club.
So I'm actually going to put us just back into this view just for a second, because I want to discuss what happened. I don't want to glaze over what happened in the week, because obviously prior to VINI Jr., this was the biggest news that happened to Arsenal. But I looked at it. It was in the middle of the night. I saw a notification. Somehow I looked at it. I opened it up. There's a £70 million bid. I looked at it for 2 seconds. They went back to bed, because I'm like, all I was been told, I was just on a show like before I went to bed about it, is that they want between 80 and 85 and also bid 70. I'm like, well, this is a non-starter. Why? And this was starting.
Well, the reports just said that they were expecting it to be rejected. So
yeah, but then why do you do it? Yeah, why? That was my point. Like, why do you do it? Like, what are we wasting time for? So we're gonna get into some of the stuff that's gone on afterwards, and I believe that Arsenal's gonna come up with a second bid. And from all reports, by the way, it's probably gonna be around the £80 million mark. Which, by the way, hey, go back and watch our show. I said £80 million package. I did say 65 and 15. So I'm not going to be completely shameless, but an £80 million package. And I think that's at the low range that Newcastle is willing to go, which doesn't surprise me. That's where Arsenal is going to go with this, given now we know. So now I'm going to be less upset, given that we're trying to save money for VINI. Now, maybe if VINI falls through, now we're back at, okay, you know what? Fine. Bruno, 85. Do it. Yeah, I feel like Arsenal's. Think so. You think no?
No. We have our evaluation for Bruno, and we won't bend the knee for that.
Yeah, I think. But I think if it hits at 80, which is the low range of Newcastle's,
I think if we bid 80 on like Thursday, we probably get a here we go on Friday.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of where we're at on Bruno, but yeah, Cal. I want to go back to the £70 million bid though for a second, because. Tell me, what was your reaction to the £7 million bid? Like, there are a lot of questions.
I don't care. That was my reaction to it.
Which is a lot, because we actually bid for Bruno and none of us cared.
Oh, I didn't care because we've been teasing and talking and prodding and all this sort of stuff, talking with agents, and Bruno's been out of the World Cup for a while now, and I thought, let's start the negotiations. That £70 million bid, I think it probably should have done that a week earlier than we did. If you wanted to start negotiations like that, all the talking between agents and stuff, I thought was to, I don't know, maybe get an idea of what Newcastle wanted and get closer to that number. Because if you were never going to get closer to that number with the first bid, there was really no reason to wait this long, unless the whole point of it is to put Newcastle under pressure by just waiting long. I don't know if that's I feel like that's a strategy that they use. They just love to make people and clubs wait. I think they think it applies pressure, so they will just do it. And to be honest, Newcastle doesn't really help, because when Liverpool waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting during the Isak deal, and Newcastle just bending the knee anyway, really gave other clubs the blueprint to try and copy them. And I personally don't like that.
From
But
a Arsenal perspective or Newcastle perspective?
just from any perspective, I think it's like, dude, like just I don't like the idea of like players just sitting down there in limbo. I just I just don't like the idea of just this the time wasting. You know what I'm
To
saying?
be honest, it's the nature of buying and selling when it's not a set price. Like
No, but I
if
would
one
prefer.
if one wants the seller wants to bring the price down, the buyer wants it as much as they possibly can. So there's always going to be a standstill for a while until you
Well,
know.
I would prefer the standstill happen after the first bid because we didn't even engage.
See that's the thing. If we had bid the 70 already before
No, that's what I mean.
this,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
See,
we
I
didn't.
feel like Arsenal is sitting. I don't know the point. Actually, you know what? I was going to say something, and I'm like, the minute I say it, the Cal's just going to be like, dude, what are you fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I don't understand the 70 million. I just don't get it. Like
I
this
thought-
was the scenario I laid out, Cal, which was like, and by the way, this is one again I've read by a few sources that was happening. Arsenal and Newcastle at some point last week, I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. Basically, they were so it wasn't the two clubs specifically. It wasn't even Berta and whoever the director is of at Newcastle. It was representatives of Arsenal and representatives of Newcastle met with representatives of the player. They went out in some meeting, I think like to dinner or something. We can paint a picture. I don't know the specifics, not important, but they met. In that meeting, I can believe that the reps of Newcastle said to Arsenal, hey, look, we believe we're ready. We're come to the realization that, Bruno doesn't want to be here. He wants to join you. So this is the deal we're willing to take, 80 to 85, which by the way, if you believe Dick Ryder, Lee Ryder,
Yeah.
or Luke Edwards, all that sort of stuff, right? They were saying that 100 million or nothing. So now they've gone down to 80 to 85. So Arsenal's initial be standing still and waiting has impacted them to bring that down that significantly
Yeah,
amount.
and that's what I said.
Into a range where Arsenal's willing to get. After that, man, like at a certain point, you can't just keep doing it.
Yeah, I think if
You
you
brought
put
it.
together
You achieved the assignment. They brought it down to 80 to 85. All right, cool. That we're happy with that because if they're going to bid 80 next week anyway, why waste a week by bidding 70?
unless that's all part of the strategy, just to make them stew on that, just sit there.
Unless they'd be like, oh wait, you know what, 75, fine, we'll do it. Like, is that what you're trying to get them to do? Like,
I don't know. If it works, then hats off. But I think I would have liked a 75 plus 5. I think that would have gotten just the deal done. But maybe Newcastle, maybe there's some resistance, and Arsenal felt like they needed to be whittled down a bit. I don't know. I just really hope it gets resolved. And to be honest, if we don't get him, let's just pivot to someone else quickly, because we're running out of time. The league starts in like a month. I want Arteta to have time with his players.
this is nosy. Same question for Vinny. Stay and play with the likes of Rodri, Mbappe, Bellingham, and move to a defense that employs a starting six. We are not debating the fact that that Vinny doesn't want to stay at Real Madrid. And it's not comparable to Bruno. Like, do not compare my team to Newcastle United. Like, let's be like, I know I don't want to spend too much time, but like Arsenal right now are better than Real Madrid in like perform better in the Champions League over the last 2 years. Like, yeah, we'll pay 85 maybe, but I think we'll pay 80. And there have been reports kind of coming in recently saying that we'd pay 80. But so let's get back into some of the tweets. And this one's coming from, I'll say his name nicely, Lee Ryder via Dean James, just because I couldn't find the original. Because at the moment, this is what Lee Ryder was saying. Maybe I'll actually find if Lee Ryder actually said it before I continue. Oh, yep, 2 hours. 2 hours ago. Here you go. Maybe then this is better from me, just rather than just going with what Dean James retweeted, actually going and reading, which is my favorite activity. Bruno Guimaraes told 80 million pound Arsenal truth as Newcastle D-Day approaches. Bruno Guimaraes certainly has interest from Arsenal, but Newcastle United are not in a position to proceed with advanced talks. Newcastle and Bruno are set for D-Day ahead of his July 31st return date after fresh talks of a bid were dismissed last night. Just before the close of play, social media suggested of an increased offer of £80 million plus add-ons emerged on X, but Chronicle Live was told such a bid was false. Classic Newcastle journalism. And just as intriguingly, by the way, told by who? And just as intriguingly, high play sources at the Arsenal end claimed the Gunners would not go close to 80 million for the player who turns 29 this year. It remains to be seen whether Arsenal decide to pull the plug on talks with the player's agent, with Newcastle Chiefs unwilling to part with Guimaraes for the £70 million price tag bandied around.
If we don't bid above £70 million for Bruno, this has been a massive waste of time.
Yeah, but which is why I don't believe that's not gonna
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
But then again, the reports did say that they bid 70 and they knew it was going to be rejected.
Yeah.
So I think a 75 plus 5 probably gets the job done.
Yeah. Price tag bandied around the July 23rd when the CBC made a big claim that a concrete offer was close. However, the £70 million bid wasn't tabled, which is why fresh talks of 80 million wasn't tabled means wasn't accepted, right? Which is why the fresh talk of 80 million on Saturday evening left Newcastle sources mystified. They always been doing that term. I
don't even know what Edwards. like say something that makes sense, please.
Yeah, with Newcastle adamant they don't want to part with Brazil star and head coach Eddie Howe making it clear. Head coach, lol. Isn't he manager? Anyway, making it clear he wants the midfielder to stay. The situation may boil down to the stance of Bruno's advisors and the will of the player himself. Howe spoke highly of Bruno's character. Okay, whatever, that's not important. The fan base have debated whether he was. That's not important either. The big difference here is that Newcastle have not had an official bid of 70 million or the 80 million claimed last night, and that, as things stand, Bruno is still the captain of the Magpies. Okay, we had a really good conversation. Yeah, this just sounds a lot
just nothing bigger towards the end. To be honest with you, I do think that we did put in for the 70 million. Whether it's like on a piece of paper emailed through, that's what people think an official bid is these days. We obviously spoke to them and was told 70 million wouldn't be enough. Yeah, I think we should probably wrap this one up this week so he can. Yeah. I think the July 31st thing that's a big thing because obviously he doesn't want to go back training with Newcastle, and yeah, I think. And
also, by the way, started our preseason yesterday. By the way, we had a
behind closed doors thing, and like if we're serious,
Bruno's not meant to be back for that one anyway. So it's like So it's different to like the Gyökeres situation of last year. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's no massive tour, so
But I really hope that we either negotiate this quickly or just move on to someone else. Because to be honest with you, while I do want Bruno and he will just make us kind of our midfield complete, if the club for whatever reason doesn't think he holds that much value, I think they should act quickly, pivot to another target, whoever that target is, and just cover for Rice until he gets back, because we still have Rice at the football club. We still have MLS at the football club. Who are those other two? And Mendy. So, I believe in those guys. So if you don't think Bruno is worth the money, just move on. Don't I think, yes, the World Cup has eaten a lot of our time up, but I think we're at the point in time where we really need to start closing some of these deals.
Yeah. So that makes this one quote feel interesting. Maybe it was in a different article, but Dean James goes, at the moment, things aren't looking good regarding Bruno and whether he stays at Newcastle or goes to Arsenal. I have a worrying feeling. And so that's from the Newcastle perspective on that. And we move on. This is the point that you were making, and this is came in from Jerry Jacob, which is Bruno has told his representatives he wants Graham Bailey. Yes. Bruno has told his representatives that he wants his future resolved within the next week before he's due to report back to Newcastle preseason training camp in Spain, as Arsenal make contact with the Magpies. So we'll obviously watch this how this thing develops in the next week or so. I agree with you, Cal. I think Arsenal's going to make some form of a second offer. I think it will total to somewhere around 80. By the way, 75 plus 5 is basically the same as what I proposed. 65 plus 15. It's just the 5 are in add-ons rather than
the 15. guaranteed means a lot to these clubs.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, look, we shall see kind of on that and how that develops. By the way, I did miss this because you dropped out, and I want to just kind of bow back just quickly on the VINI topic, because I thought this video was hilarious, right? And this kind of goes on to what kind of Mosey's been acting. So just quickly, just on VINI, I just do feel like not from a factual will this won't this happen, the stir it's caused among rival fans is actually great, because people don't realize like VINI is like such a big brand. Like when players play for like Real Madrid or whatever, like I feel like as a neutral fan, most people are like, oh, I like VINI. VINI is a good player, like Mbappe, or Yamal. Everyone has kind of this stuff. So this is kind of very funny. This is from Rory on his video yesterday. In terms of his response to the bid or the interest.
How's my luck? I asked my wife to go and get me some flip-flops. We're going to be going on holiday. My flip-flops, bro. I need some flip-flops. So she goes to the shop. She comes back and she's bought me these. Look at my flip-flop. I gone, what? She went, oh yeah, they're a really good footballer. So I've been wearing these flip-flops. I'm like, what? Right? Why are you buying me flip-flops branded with footballers? I'm not 8. And she thought they were nice, so she's bought me these. Look, I can't wear these. I'm now going to have to go on holiday. These are going in the bin. I can't go on holiday with Arsenal fans, with an Arsenal player on my flip-flop. Like, this is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Does anyone want some flip-flops? How's my luck? I asked my wife to go and get me...
I got to tell you, the melt that I am looking for if this deal happens. I'm going to say this, right? If this deal happens, I am looking forward to the meltdown, to the tears that the rivals are going to get.
It's going to be all doom and gloom. By the way, Fabrizio just dropped something there. He's saying, Barcola, I sent you the link. Barcola is 100% leaving the club. He's not signing any deal.
I could have told you that. I should have tweeted that. Hey, Cal, you know what I know. I could have tweeted that.
Oh, there was still always a possibility, but I think because there is a possibility because of the Yandy Monday thing that they'd hold on to Barcola. That's been the theory.
I'm gonna bring this up. And I don't want to give up too much, but I'll tell you, everybody knows here on this network about Benjamin. He was actually meant to be on one of our shows one of the times. And I reference him a lot, but I did kind of pull him up on a few topics last week in regards to this, because obviously Barcola is someone of interest to him. He scoured him. He specifically happens to know a lot about Barcola and his situation. So the VINI of it all obviously makes this interesting and explains to me why Arsenal have not gone down that avenue so strongly as of yet, right? But from what I understand, on the PSG side, he and Luis Enrique do not have a great relationship right now. He doesn't feel like Luis Enrique values him enough based on how much he utilizes him week in and week out. And it's not just, by the way, about Kvaratskhelia. It's also about Doué as well, because like Barcola could also play out on the right, and like he's not fixed left. He could play right if he wanted to, and Doué is a similar like to Barcola. So we're a bit in the reverse. So it's he doesn't feel like he's getting enough playing time in general. So like his relationship with Enrique isn't good, which is why he probably just doesn't want to stay. Because again, they've been going for Diamande and stuff. Like they clearly, and the other guy, the Juba, whatever what is his name? Akliouche.
Dude, you look like
I know. I had a massive fart in that. Akliouche. So no, but like that's basically the PSG side of things. From the other side of things, so I know that Barcola is interested in moving to England. He wants to play in the Premier League right? He's spoken. His representative has spoken with Arsenal before. They've spoken with Liverpool. They've spoken actually with Chelsea, which should have been an indication as to Chelsea still think that they can, go big and go for some of these targets. I feel like that was an avenue that they were thinking about as an alternative to Rodgers, but they just feel like maybe we can't really achieve that.
I think it's the asking price.
Yeah, but I know Chelsea. I know that
PSG
Chelsea
want
actually spoke with him as well. So
150 million euros.
So the big part about this is his preference. And I have seen some reports, and I don't know if they're true because I've spoken to someone who I trust. The thing is that he will go to Liverpool. He will go, like, for instance, Arsenal by VINI, for instance, he'll go to Liverpool, right? But if Arsenal and Liverpool offer the same thing, the same terms or whatever, he'll go Arsenal. The reason being is that his childhood idol is Thierry Henry. He wears 12 for France because guess who wore 12 for France? Thierry Henry. He literally, every time he scores, he picks up the back of his shirt. He shows you the 12 on his back of his shirt. He's been telling you the whole summer what he wants to do. So Arsenal in terms of the project, everything, he really likes the Arsenal project. So if Arsenal wanted to go after Barcola, I think it's a deal that Arsenal can get done. But the real question on the Barcola thing from an Arsenal perspective is, do Arsenal go down that road? That's the big question. Just quickly on Barcola. Cal, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And now you have a wheel spinning. Here you are. Okay. I mean, Cal knows all the other stuff that I was kind of saying about Barcola before, but thoughts on that? Just quickly, and then we'll move on. Oh, no. Nope. All right. We'll move on. We'll just wait for Cal, but I'll actually, here we go. We'll move actually to the next topic. Cal?
Yeah.
Right, cool. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're telling me 150 for Barcola, 160 or for Vinicius Jr., come on. I think if we were to go in for Barcola, we would get him, but I don't think we're willing to spend the money. And to be honest with you, even like sentiment aside, like we all know that Liverpool is going to stick Barcola on the right. I mean, like why would he want to do that? Why wouldn't he want to play left? You know what I'm saying? And Arteta's a much more attractive manager to play for than Areola, because with all due respect, who the F is Areola? Like in world football, like he hasn't done anything. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like even like Xabi Alonso has at least, played, like, managed a top flight. He won his league. Even freaking Maresca has managed top flight football before, like managed at like a big six club before, So Areola, I don't think that's very attractive, and I also don't think playing on the right is attractive. But compared to who's in for him and who can afford him, I think Liverpool is probably just going to get him by default, honestly.
Okay, this is interesting. Where can I find we're back because I feel like we just keep getting updates and on stuff. So wait, let's go. It's called Talking Highbury. I don't know what you tell me if you can interpret this in either way, or if this is any of this. Oh, by the way, I actually got this. This account has actually got the same stuff. The Barcola is decided not to sign a contract according to Fab. So that's all there. Madrid are expected to resume contracts with Vinicius this week. The whole Lee Ryder things aren't looking good. Okay. Where is this one? Okay, maybe this is... Okay, Real Madrid and Vinicius Jr. are in agreement, and that is to stay at the club. The question is whether they can agree on personal terms.
Dude, like, the way they're saying these things, it's such a weird way to phrase these statements. They're all phrasing it in different ways, and depending on the source, it's either positive or negative, or they all in agreement that they want to stay, but can they agree to the terms? It's like, of course, Real Madrid wants Vinicius Junior to bend the knee, and of course, Vinicius Junior wants Madrid to bend the knee. But it's probably not going to happen. There's a good chance that like no one bends the knee. You know what I'm saying?
And they're
just taking the words to spin it to generate clicks. But it's like the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like Vinicius would stay if Madrid, agrees to his image rights and all that stuff,
which they've never done in the history of their football club.
And Madrid will keep Vinicius if he just accepts the terms that they've already given him that he didn't want to accept.
Here's the problem, though, Cal, right? From a Real Madrid standpoint, I want to go back to Alvarez because we're going to talk about it. I don't want to spend too long, to be honest. But from a Madrid standpoint, if they were to break this rule that they have kept across the line with players in the past, right? And they were lent on this, then in the future, all the other players can be like, oh, so you were willing to say they're willing to give him 75%. Oh, you're willing to give Vinny 75%? Well, I want 75%.
If Mbappe couldn't get that 50%,
well, yeah, Mbappe, right?
I don't think Vinicius can.
So that's why it comes down to Vinny. Is the 50% image rights so important to him that he's willing to
the thing is, it's not only about it's not only about the 50%. It's about the salary demands to compensate, like you said.
Yeah. Yep. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on Rookie. Big up here, Rookie.
Big up,
just
Rookie.
Got here. Been a while, Rookie. Let you know your thoughts, by the way, on Vinny Jr. But we move on to a topic that is Rookie's favorite, but I don't want to spend more than 5 minutes on it, to be honest, because we're
really
at 1 hour
not more than 5 minutes.
You know why. So yeah, Arsenal. Look, it's interesting because since Rookie, I'll say this in the nicest way possible. Go back to the start of the show, but I'll sum up, and Cal will sum up too. My summary here is: this would be the greatest signing in the history of Arsenal Football Club.
Probably the biggest signing in the history of the Prem, to be honest.
Yeah, well, yeah, potentially.
No, in the Premier League, there's never been a team to take Madrid, a player from Real Madrid or Barcelona, one of their best attackers in their prime. Vinicius Jr. is 25 or 26.
This is like if you took Cristiano Ronaldo in the middle of his Real Madrid career. You know what I mean?
Even Cristiano's a bit too much. Maybe.
Yeah.
It'd be like taking Bale from Madrid.
It would have been like taking, like, I don't know, like Xavi or Iniesta from Barcelona in the prime of their careers.
Yeah. Like they're 25,
right?
26.
Like they're not Messi, right?
Yeah, they're not Messi, because I think the Mbappes and Yamals are kind of like in a tier on their own, and then there's the tier below that, which is like the Vinis, the Haalands.
This is higher than Ozil, Rookie. Like Ozil was he surplus to requirements. They just brought in Gareth Bale. I think this is different.
Yeah,
this is
We're taking someone at the peak of their powers.
Yeah, I think it's more a little bit. The closer I think it is like when we took Alexis from Barcelona, but it's a little bit higher than that still.
Because Alexis was still a teenager, wasn't he?
No. Alexis was in his prime. Alexis was the starting left winger on Barcelona at the time, but like he competed for time with Pedro, right? So they had Pedro and they had Alexis, and then they had Messi obviously on the other side and David Villa through the middle. Yeah. So okay. I do want to get into Julian, but basically, I'd say this deal is something that I think can get done. David Ornstein is not going to just tweet that for no reason. The ambition of the football club is amazing because the deal's been agreed at all levels. So that's what's important. Am I buying into it, whether it happens or not yet? I'm going to wait to see what are the the results of the meeting with Real Madrid. That's what I'm gonna be doing. But
I mean,
it would
if
be
he's
sensational.
if he's meeting with them just to say I accept the deal, that's kind of crazy. But yeah.
Yeah. Look, see, I don't think any of us is being naive, but at the same time, going to the other extreme,
Yeah,
I think is also being naive.
I think that's also being that's praying and hoping that it won't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just prayer and hope.
Yeah. Vinny will be good. I'm worried about the defensive parts of his game. Hey, I was trying to avoid that topic, but it looks like Rookie agrees with me a little bit on that.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Don't take the bait, Cal. Otherwise, we'll be here for the next 3 hours. Maybe we could get into it later when we talk tactics, actually, maybe. Which we're going to do in our last segment, which is why I want to kind of get there. So, look, the Julian Alvarez stuff does not go away. There have been lots of reports. Arsenal still willing to wait to see what goes on with Barcelona situation. Barcelona's, by the way, I think last week, Fabrizio basically said it as, finally, for the first time ever, Barcelona is starting to believe that. We always knew this, Rookie. That Barcelona is starting to believe that maybe Alvarez isn't happening. For the first time ever, the whole summer, they're starting to believe that, right?
Oh, really?
And I think that was from Fabrizio. No, that was from Fabrizio, right?
Really? Fabrizio said that?
Mainly because it's from the Atletico side of it, right?
Okay.
So Arsenal's willing to pounce. And I think we said last time, it's one of those deals where it's like a black checkbook. I think similar. I think we got 2 of those now, which would be Vinny and Alvarez. Now, whether Arsenal's willing to pull the trigger and pay above the odds for both is yet to be seen. I'm wondering to see if we were to pull off a Vinny signing, what the reports would be like on Alvarez. And for me, this is my personal belief, right? Just from a window standpoint, I'm not super desperate for Julian Alvarez because of this. I'm desperate for Vinny. Although I'm chill, and I feel like if Vinny, this is what I'm kind of thinking, like knowing what I know, if Vinny bends the knee, then Arsenal will go for Barcola, because I feel like Arsenal haven't gone super deep on the Barcola thing because the Vinny thing has been lingering. One of the reasons why we didn't willing to go to 117 for Rodgers, because the Vinny thing was lingering. If Vinny, it was all of a sudden we're like, okay, well, the Vinny thing's out of the picture, then I think Arsenal will proceed and get Bradley Barcola, because I think that's a deal that they know the player wants and that they can achieve. And I think the fact that publicly now it's being stated that he is not going to stay at PSG is also huge. So
how much? I hope, to be honest, I hope if we don't get the Vinny deal done, that we will pivot to, to Barcola. But do not be surprised if we just go, keep Martinelli, get the Bruno, and just go all in for the Alvarez. Put the money on the table for him, and then that's our summer, which I think a lot of fans would be happy with. I personally would feel like we have too many strikers and not enough wingers in the team. Oh yeah, did you? Apparently, Ethan. Just off topic. Ethan Moneri scored in that closed game. I don't know what position he was playing. Was he playing winger? Was he playing in the 10?
I know he was assisted by Zolis, I believe, from the report I was reading.
Yeah. Was he playing in the 10 or was he playing as a winger? What was he playing? I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm trying to piece that team together. Imagine Jesus played up front, because I saw photos of him in that.
Bro, I don't want to see here that, bro. Man, Jesus should
be behind the doors closed thing. It wasn't even like with fans in the stands.
Put literally.
We're not going to be really caring about the starting 11 in a fitness exercise, are we? So
Jesus is probably going to get injured in the fitness exercise. We need to sell him.
Yeah. Alvarez better stay put or go to Barca. Look, I think that's interesting. The one thing I will just say on that is just don't trade Gyökeres for him.
I think there's a really good chance we get Alvarez. Whether we get Vinny or not, by the way. Alvarez is someone Arteta desperately wants.
Oh, by the way, Cal, Benny is Benny's looking like a genius. So Jamel on X from KJ is reposting it. So KJ generally is very, when it comes to reposting things in the group, he doesn't just post bullshit, right? For now, despite all the clubs after him, he already turned down Chelsea. His priority is Liverpool if he leaves this summer. Liverpool have made them their top target. Fabrizio has also, by the way, retweeted the Barcola thing and put his little arrow down, check, red circle, hashtag LFC. So Liverpool are on it. Which, again,
going all in.
The reason why, again, I'll say this again, the reason why is because Arsenal haven't put their hat in the ring, really. They're chasing this VINI thing.
Yeah, so
right?
that's why I actually don't think we probably don't go in for Barcola after the VINI stuff, because the VINI stuff will take too long. Unless Liverpool wraps up that,
maybe that's why Liverpool's now looking at that and being like, okay, we got to wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what I would say Arsenal is, looks like Diamande is going to go to Real Madrid, and that could happen within even tonight, maybe, or tomorrow. Right. Who else do we go to? Because if it's not VINI, if it's not Barcola, you need to have a third plan, and it has to be good. One thing that I really enjoyed about Arsenal in this window, and we have to admit it now, Cal, right? Arsenal are not just targeting your obvious target that everyone knew would be available this summer. We didn't go for Elliot Anderson. We didn't go for Tonali. We didn't go for Mateus Fernandes. We went for Bruno Guimaraes, right? Right now, after Morgan Rogers, which, by the way, was briefed everyone by the media that would be available, we're now going to go for VINI. But ahead of Barcola, ahead of Diamande, right? Well, Diamande, I think, because he's going to Madrid. I think we looked into that, but that is something that's like Arsenal's really being ambitious in a different way, where we're not just going to go for who is briefed to be available by everybody. We're going to throw our weight around and try to really get better.
It's a high risk. It's a high risk, high reward, because, like, say, if we don't get VINI or Alvarez, then we end up with nothing. Really. I think, to be honest with you, let's say we don't get VINI, I'd be happy with like a Nusa and a Alvarez.
Nusa would be.
But we need one marquee forward signing. One. You know.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Guys, by the way, Simon says, bro, he has the links. He says his massage therapist, she's Brazilian, visits me every Tuesday. She told me news in Brazil is VINI joining Arsenal is certain. Wow. Okay.
Wait, here we go. I don't want to know about your massage therapist, Simon, but visits me every Tuesday. Okay. She told me the news in Brazil is VINI is certain to join Arsenal.
Fair enough.
Well, we'll see. Look, I hope your massage therapist is right. Only Barca or PSG suit him. He's never been. Yeah, Rookie. I think we've established our points on Alvarez enough. Would I take him at Arsenal? Yes. Would I trade Victor Gyökeres for him, like people are constantly trying to brief in the media? No. So we'll move to our tactics board in a second, but I'll just to close off. This is my feeling on the summer window, and then
why do you think PSG is going to get VINI if they're not even linked to him?
I don't.
Wait. And they have Kvaratskhelia. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Like that's just like I'm a doomer. Like that's just dooming.
Yeah, right. If Cal is fucking saying that.
Because you're creating links. Like
yeah. So
if they're linked to him, then
if Arsenal's summer ended like this though, Cal, right? This is a lot less of a shopping list than I had before, right? By the way, my whole thing throw out the window. It seems like Morgan Rogers is even coming, like blew up. Like this is different, man. VINI Jr. and Bruno. Done. That team can win the treble.
That's sorted.
Now, of course, fix our right back situation. That doesn't go into the night.
Yeah.
But I think that, by the way, Konza, I think, could be back on the table because Morgan Rogers isn't coming. But also apparently
No,
we're not willing to pay what they want.
No, Conte's not back on the table.
But the other one I'm looking at, by the way, and I'm going to put him on the tactics board, is John Martin. And me and Cal looked at him as well. And that seems like a deal that Andrea Berta and Arsenal would do. John Martin from Real Sociedad. So
They love Sociedad. They just didn't love Sociedad.
Absolutely, exactly. All right. So, Enrique, now you're here. You missed out on our tactics show last time, and now we're gonna do it now.
Oh yeah, guys, remember to like people. That helps the channel.
Yeah, make sure you hit the likes. All right, so here you go. Back to my original little last year's tweaked. I have put Eze ahead of Odegaard because me and Cal last time agreed that we prefer Eze to Odegaard. So I've got Eze in the 10.
Fits the double pivot system much better if we're going the double pivot.
Yeah. But I've replaced an outgoing Leandro Trossard with an incoming Zolis, now officially into the depth chart. So down at the bottom here, I have got, can you see all the targets all the way to John Martin? Yeah. So right now I've got the currently linked Arsenal targets. So what deals do you think? I just want to kind of look at how Arsenal can look. And I think the most obvious of them all is like what we had before. And look, I think things can change quickly on this. But I'm still sticking to, I think Bruno is coming to town. And I'll put him in there in terms of how we're going to set up. Interesting. I think Vinny is like so fucking, like this isn't even like much of an exercise, right? So you could, Vinny.
Zolis could probably give Vinny a run of his money, don't you think?
You're kidding, right? But see, like, if this is our still starting 11, just this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is that, you see that little interaction that just happened there? Let's not pretend like Zolis is a marquee signing for Arsenal Football Club. He's a good guy. But like he's not a marquee signing. He's a really nice to have. Okay? Anyway, back to the video.
Look at this lineup. This is my what I just mentioned before. Like we're just talking like starting 11. This is treble. This is a different looking version to the one that you had with Morgan Rogers in the 10 and Barcola on the right.
By the way, put Alvarez on up front, and I think that's even better.
You want me to do it?
I think in this system, Alvarez would work.
For me, this is the bare minimum though, right? So for me, Alvarez is like, I'm still like, let's see, because we're not his prior destination. By the way,
you just said that Fabrizio tweeted that Barcelona might be giving up on Alvarez. It's never looked stronger.
Simon, I disagree. By the way, in the end of the year, I swear, with every this is, by the way, this is complete emotional take. So be careful. With every single time that this new cycle of switching Alvarez for Gyökeres comes up, Gyökeres is watching here on his phone, and I'm like, that's another 10 goals to my season's salary. So we're at like I said maybe he can hit 30. I think he's at 40 goals next. If he hits 40 goals next season, all you guys will be coming back here with your tail between your legs, and I don't want to hear any of you guys being like, "Oh no." Oh,
by the way,
Gyökeres, he's the best striker ever. No, I remember. Okay.
Oh, by the way, Anton, this Vinicius Jr. changes the entire Gyökeres situation for me.
All right, talk.
Simon says something interesting. He said, in this system, Havertz starts over Gyökeres, and I actually agree, because now we have Gyökeres and Eze as goal scorers in the team, and Havertz can help with that build-up. And he's not. We don't need to rely on him. That suits him a lot better. To have him playing off Vinicius Jr. and Eze, I think that works way better, because Vinicius Jr. is a goal scoring winger. He's not someone that just crosses it into the box for Gyökeres. You know what I'm saying? Gyökeres actually, like going for Vinicius Jr., like the system is leaning away from Gyökeres because now we have Zolis, who is a goal scoring winger, and we're looking after Vinicius, who's a goal scoring winger as well. And it's leaning, these guys are less facilitators and more goal scorers. You know what I'm saying? So we're adding more goals, but we need more creativity if we want Gyökeres to I mean, to be fair, Vinicius
To be
Jr.
honest, my now we're at the tactics board. My football analyzing brain is very much listening to what you're having to say. So
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, if we get Alvarez, that team is mega. That is champion. That is looking looking at Vinicius Jr., Julian Alvarez, Saka, Eze, Bruno G, Rice, Calafiori, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Raya, lifting up a Champions League. That looks like you should be lifting up the Champions League for me. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, that's just a pipe dream right now. But
by the way, I want to comment on Rookie because again, Rookie, again, when it comes to his scouting knowledge and his watching football everywhere, I find it very interesting. So he goes, "You guys know about my hidden gem, John Martin, which watched a lot of games last year." Yes, Cal has as well, by the way, which is why when I showed Cal, he was like, "Yeah." Cal watches La Liga in his spare time. Just for those guys that you don't know. What was Rookie kept on saying? It was a lot of game last season. And he was saying, last season it was a very difficult season for Sociedad, but John Martin was a bright spot and he gave a lot of minutes and he impressed me a lot. I was watching for Ori Oskarsson, but John Martin delivered. Yeah, look, to be honest, I am a center backs nerd. Everyone knows this. I'm always a big defense is important.
Yes,
I was even going on yesterday and saying it's important that Vinny's able to track back, right?
And I disagreed, and we had like a little bit of a disagreement.
I'm wondering, what Rookie has to think about this. I had this debate in my group chat the other day, and I was saying, I can't believe that the price that Chelsea ended up having to pay for Lacroix is £50 million, and that's considered to be a good deal. Because for me, I look at Lacroix and I say, we got Hincapié for about 35. No way would you put those two side by side and say Lacroix is a good deal. I'd take Hincapié over Lacroix.
Yeah, and
I would take Calafiori was £42 million. I'd take Calafiori over Lacroix. I would take John Martin over Lacroix. Now, based on his potential, based on the way he's positioned, Lacroix gets people like look at a guy in the transfer window and they forget all the things they saw last year. Do you guys not remember we played them in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup and he single-handedly gave us the semifinal spot? Own goal, missed the pen at the end. But like then you watch him play against Jude Bellingham and against the World Cup, and he had him in a spliff. He had him returning left, right, and center, falling all over himself. Like he does not have the positional strength.
Yeah, dude.
Of a center back that I'm willing to pay £50 million for.
Like I was watching the Football Terror, shout out to Terry, and he said Lacroix transforms Chelsea's defense, and I'm like, is this like am I just not watching the games like properly? Because I just don't see him as this guy that transforms Chelsea's defense. Like I don't think he's crap, but I just don't see him as like a heavy hitter. Like Gurhey was obviously a heavy hitter. Like that's
they're acting as if. By the way, Gay went for 20, but that was because of he was 6 months ago in his contract, right?
But that's it. When I hear transform defense, that's the caliber of player, and they're still not as good as Gabriel and Saliba, by the way. But that's the caliber of player I'm expecting. You know, I don't know, man.
Yeah, like for me, I rate John about a lot of questions about John Martin. Rookie's there to help as well. John Martin a ball playing center back? Yes, he is. Indeed. From what I saw of John Martin, he definitely has a higher potential than Mascara, but not Saliba level, which is quite good. Yeah, so that's kind of the way. So actually, this is why I'm going to go back to the board. We're all having this conversation.
Why
Cal,
does I feel like Mascara stock has dropped just because of one mistake in that Champions League final. He literally came on and like imperious for like almost every single game that we played him. We played him out of position at right back. Every time we played him as centre back, every single time we played him as centre back for Arsenal, I couldn't tell the difference. He was that good. He was really, really good. And by the way, Saliba level is the best in the world. Like
by the
Saliba,
way, that's back on the Vinny thing. So for people that are missing out, he plays with Gabriel as one of the best center backs in the world. He would see like Saliba at the World Cup and be like, "Damn, this guy is the best center back in the world." Like Arsenal, like Declan Rice made all the way semi-finals. See Saka score a hat trick in that third place game. He'd be like, "Damn it, Arsenal players have got great players everywhere. If I can't stay at Madrid, Arsenal's a great option. They got great players." You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you appreciate the choir, dude. Like if the deal doesn't go with Madrid, I think we're a very good option.
Yeah. Anyway, back to this. So the reason why I was looking at John Martin, by the way, I think it's more of the profile, the price. I feel the upside that we like or Berta likes especially, and I think again, a few guys said the nail on the head. I think it's a similar profile to like what we did last year with Mascara. So like if I was going to look at the situation, this is why John Martin makes sense to me, and is important to look at. So Saliba goes out. And then I'm just going to put Mascara would be your starter because he's been with Arsenal for a year. Whether you believe he or Martin is a better player, it's really, for me, it's like, to begin with, we're going with Mascara. He's been in the league for a year. You know, it's I think I trust him, and he showed in.
Isn't Gabriel going to get extended rest to start the season?
I can't see Arsenal doing that. I think Gabriel comes back on the 31st of July, just like Bruno,
Gabriel did not like.
Vini's also coming back on the 31st of July from the Brazil players will be back in a week.
For Brazil, Gabriel looked tired.
If Cal, you would agree with me on this. If we knew Saliba was out and then we played our back four without Gabriel or Saliba in it at the start of the season, I can't see Arteta doing it. If he knew that Gabriel was there and available. So I think if you had neither, it's going to be hard.
I'd be pretty upset if he's starting games because I think he's a walking injury. I think
maybe.
with
I thought
with
he
the like
season
honestly,
strong,
we're
though.
playing like Stoke and stuff. Like, come on, like you can't trust the team to beat these guys. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I definitely. But did you say Stoke? Coventry.
Not Stoke. Coventry. Yeah, Coventry.
Yeah. So I think the good news, by the way, that from what I was reading, Ben White actually played in the fitness exercise yesterday, so he's way ahead of schedule. So that means for me, do we go for Fresneda or anyway? Because then you're starting to create like it's going to be hard to pitch that to him, I believe. But at the same time, though, what that does do, if you do a Fresneda, let's say we're Ben White can then kind of play here if need be. And
no, you'd want Timber playing centre back before White.
But for the sense of I get what you're saying.
White, like I'm still as I just prefer White as my right back over Timber for most games.
Yeah.
For Champions League nights when we were going up against an insane left winger, I want Timber, but for like most games in the league, I want White because I'm sorry, dude. Saka unlocking attackers is something that I feel like it's something that we don't try to do enough. And I'm sick of Timber running into spaces Saka should be like, being like, I want Timber doesn't overlap enough. He doesn't link up with Saka enough. And we could be blitzing teams with a healthy Saka next season with White as a right back. And I think Timber as a centre back is better than White as a centre back, in my opinion.
Actually, I've changed my mind. No more Fresneda. Let's wait for a better prospect. Keep Ben White, but if you sell him, fine.
Oh, you'd roll the dice? I don't want to roll the dice. Timber and White is still injury prone.
So, Simon, Saliba, I'm going to bring him back actually in a second, but I'm basically showing you why I believe that. For instance, I think Konza, I can understand why Konza makes sense because Konza could start ahead of Mosquera, right? But then I think about it. For the price you're paying for Konza, we're going to pay that much for a backup? Because Aston Villa, just for context, want more for Ezri Konza than we paid for either of Gabriel or Saliba or Calafiori or Hincapié or Timber, any of our starting players, right?
And every one of our defenders is better than him. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
If you told me to trade Mosquera for Konza, I'd laugh in your face. I'd rather have Mosquera.
Yeah, exactly. So the way the depth chart, well, let's for giggles, let's take Fresneda out just for a sec, because then I do feel like there hasn't been enough strong links. But for me, this is kind of how I think Arsenal team, and it could be because Martin can play both left and right center back, and so this is why I really love this. So you got Saliba and Gabriel, but what you also have now is, by the way, two young Spanish up and coming players who are of the same age, who have a potential. So let's say if Gabriel and Saliba move on somewhere, potential to play together as a partnership for both club and country.
That'd be pretty sick.
So I think in terms of I think you're also covering in terms of having defensive options this season, but you're also covering for the future. And I like the prospect to have a John Martin. Whether Mosquera or Martin become the better player is like asking me, who do you like better, Gabriel or Saliba? Like, it doesn't really, they're both there, right? So it's like, it doesn't really change my mind altogether, but I think it just better rounds out that defensive structure. And by the way, again, Martin is not going to be as expensive as Konza, and he's younger, and there's not as much pressure there. And again, he can fill in behind Mosquera while Saliba is gone, and you can kind of go with a rotation of the two, one game in, one game the other, and then you kind of keep each other fresh until the big man is back. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my concept in terms of that. The midfield we already kind of discussed in the previous segment. Like, I think Bruno, it's the Bruno, Eze, Rice, and then I'm going to move in these two boys in here, MLS and Zubamendi. And you can and maybe like Cal, you can maybe kind of discuss here a little bit of just the different variation of combinations. And I'll even chuck our skipper, even though let's be honest, because now I think he is staying.
And I think
unless it's a salary dump to make room for Vinny, I think he's staying. Yeah. So yeah, talk us through this, man.
I'm just a midfield.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this one makes the most sense. And Zubamendi, it's probably going to be Bruno, Zubi, and Eze to start the season if we get Bruno, because we know for a fact that Rice is going to have an extended break, which he deserves. But that Bruno G Rice Eze just makes much more sense to me, because for me personally, having Bruno and Rice, or Zubamendi and Bruno, or Zubamendi and Skelly, or whatever combination you want for the pivot, I personally think it works better with a striker that stays up. Odegaard loves to and this is the thing that people don't understand about Odegaard. They look at how Odegaard plays for Norway, and they think that's how he's going to play for Arsenal, but it doesn't work, because Odegaard literally plays like a roaming deep lying playmaker at times. Like, he loves to drop super deep, collect the ball from the center backs, dictate play that way. But with a double pivot, it doesn't make sense for our 10 to drift that far back to collect the ball, because our pivot's supposed to be dictating that play. Our pivot's supposed to be the ones distributing the ball to the attack, or to the creators of the team. My boss is a gunner, and he said, well, the reason why we're getting Bruno is so that he could give the ball to Odegaard, so Odegaard doesn't drop back. Me personally, I think Odegaard is going to drop back anyway. I think it's just the way he plays. He just likes he likes occupying those spaces. So I do think as a starting, I think it just works. And this is it the strongest midfield in the league? If this is our midfield, I think it is.
Oh, easy. But would you bring back Tomiyasu? Simple answer, no. Yeah. And Rookie insert interest into that one. Yeah, I would say this is the best. Look, to be honest, Rice and Bruno G as a combination, and you can rotate in. The beauty of this lineup is that we, unlike last season where you can feel like the midfield was starting to lose its legs.
Yeah, this is
it's
no one's
impossible to.
Everyone's
you
fighting
can
for their place.
constantly, yeah. If I've played a lineup without Rice, which we probably will which is why I think Bruno is important, which is why July 31st is an important date, which is why I think we're also going to get it done this week, that's when he's returning from training camp. I almost need him at Arsenal on the July the 31st because he's going to be our guy when Rice is coming back slowly, right?
Yeah. He needs to be embedded in the team soon.
Yeah, he would need to be embedded in the team soon. He needs to understand how we like to play through the midfield, creating some chemistry with some of his other partners. I can see us going with Bruno and Zubi, but Zubi, by the way, is interestingly enough, like won the World Cup. Congratulations to him, but didn't really only played for the last 24 minutes of the tournament.
Yeah.
So like, it's an interesting one. Like,
he didn't really get time
on
to shine
paper, he gets an extended break because he was with Spain.
Yeah.
But once he actually comes back into the team, he's well rested.
Yeah, and so he's going to be starting.
But I wouldn't be surprised if day one, let's say we bring in Bruno, if the lineup is like Bruno and MLS with Eze in the midfield or with Odegaard.
Zubi's playing 100%. It'll be Zubi. It'll be either Zubi MLS. Because we don't want to
because it also could be, by the way, where I'm taking into account though, Cal, is that Zubi might not have as much of a preseason just because he was with the Spain camp. He's still, by definition, going to come to Arsenal later. MLS played yesterday.
Depends on what his determination is. Depends on his drive.
Right. So I could see it be Bruno G and Lewis Skelly from the first day. Maybe Zubimendi by the second week. Eze or Odegaard.
Again, they're both ready.
They're both. I think they'll both be ready. Again, Eze, similar to the Zubimendi situation, didn't play much. Did play some good minutes at different times. Like, to be honest, I thought Eze.
To be honest with you, I'd be concerned if players like Eze and Zubimendi don't rush back to this Arsenal team to try to solidify their spot, because you're not bona fide yet, and you need to prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the truth. As much as I like to say I don't think Odegaard fits the system, and they didn't do enough to just take it off Odegaard completely.
Yeah. By the way, update from Fabrizio. I'm going to bring him up on the screen. So this is again. I'm going to bring this up because it very much relates to Arsenal's scenario at the moment as well. Just in terms of, where is it? Because this is now starting to heat up. So I was going to put this up on the screen. Can I move this to the side here we go. Cool. Liverpool have been leading the race for Bradley Barcola since April, and they are working on the deal. Understand Barcola is open to the move and gives priority to Liverpool's project if they can get a deal done with PSG. Liverpool are waiting for PSG's indication on price and the details. So again, that last line is very important.
Why are they waiting? Why aren't they inquiring?
Right.
What are they waiting on?
Waiting is a really important. Another one. The Mail says Mourinho knows Vinicius Jr. leaving Real Madrid will free him of a tactical headache. Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the Barcola thing, he's been spitting out updates on Barcola like frequently since we started this podcast. Rookie, I would not say that yet. Wait.
Wait, Ben Jacobs, did you see that one 2 minutes ago?
What did he say? Is it about our boy?
No, Real Madrid expected to bid again for Yandé Monday while PSG remain in talks. Real hoping to reach a quick agreement with potential movement within the next 24 hours.
See, my question is why are Madrid
Pushing
that
this hard and
desperately
this
moving
quick
for Diamande?
for Diamande?
And for the whole day, Fablas yesterday was pushing Diamande.
Yeah, I think
And then
there's
boom, Bomba, Vinny from Ornstein, by the way. It's like if they feel connected.
Yeah, I honestly think I'm more positive about Vinny to Arsenal than Alvarez to Arsenal at the moment, just because of the situation. You know?
Yeah, and the difference is, by the way, Vinny would have had already played for Madrid. Like Alvarez
it's not
is
a dream.
longing to go for Barcelona. He's already lived the dream. Now he's moved on past the dream. You know what I mean? Like, because Madrid need an elite right winger. Okay,
I mean, to be honest, they could use Diamande whether Vinny leaves or not. No one cares about Rodrigo.
Yeah. Madrid, I'm sure they would love to have Saka, but I don't think that's going to be part of this deal. And I don't. Again, Saka's dream is Arsenal. I think everyone knows that. So, yeah.
Look, I guess they don't.
In terms of it being a dream, I don't think it's a dream. As I said before, Arsenal is his preferred destination. The thing is that Arsenal haven't come after him. That's why he's prioritizing Liverpool at the moment. But this is fairly similar to like what happened last year with Eze. Like Arsenal always were Eze's preferred destination. Arsenal just went cold on that. They were looking elsewhere. And last second it was about to happen. Boom, Arsenal mismatched it and then went on. The thing about Barcola, for most important from an Arsenal standpoint, two things would need to happen for us to get him at this point. Vinny would have to stay, and then Liverpool would have to bring down the valuation of PSG's valuation of Barcola to a point where it's in Arsenal's valuation range.
It's not like Arda Güler was playing like dog shit last season on the right.
I heard that Arda Güler could. Yeah, well, Arda Güler could easily play on that side.
He plays there right now, doesn't he? He plays on the right.
Yeah.
He plays on the right for Real Madrid right now.
I was hearing rumors that Chelsea were targeting Arda Güler, and I'm like, I don't think. I don't know. It depends. Like,
maybe they want more goals. I don't know.
Yeah, Güler is a 10, but Jude Bellingham is also a 10. Like, right, and they've also got Rodri potentially coming in. You know, like they're stacked in there. Güler at Real Madrid, I think, is more slotted in on the right hand side. That's kind of been where he's been. I
think Madrid wants Diamande anyway, whether Vinny stays or not.
But they also wanted Elise as well, so
that right side is just always something that they were targeting.
Yeah,
I don't think they're happy with Arda Güler.
Yeah, look, we'll have to see. There's so much. Again, I'm not going to try to sit here and justify why Vinny is happening, because at the end of the day, we need to know what, like, the facts are the facts. We have all the facts in front of us, and that is there's a meeting. Vinny wants 50% plus an extension, plus a pay rise. He wants 50% of his image rights. That's what Vinny wants. Real Madrid have given 50% of image rights to all star players throughout the history of Real Madrid. If they're going to start to relent, Real Madrid are the biggest. They have the biggest pool power of any team in the world. They're not changing their stance for anybody, let alone Vinny Jr. In the from Real Madrid's standpoint, they have a Vinny Jr. in every generation.
Dude, what the hell? Ben Jacobs just posted again. PSG value Bradley Barcola at 170 million euros and are using transfers Morgan Rodgers and Elliot Anderson as valuation yardsticks.
So are you telling me that we can get Vinny for cheaper?
These guys are insane.
170 for your backup winger.
They're basically treating him like if he was starting during the back-to-back Champions Leagues. Like that's like they're like PSG are just they're just massive dickheads. They're just gonna not
I wonder how Liverpool see that. I mean, look,
okay.
it's not like Liverpool are cheap. If they, it depends how much they want him. Like they bought, they spent what 300 combined for basically or 250 combined for Isak and Verts last year, right? So it's not like Liverpool can't do it at that price, but I guarantee you they're going to try to bring that shit down. And that could also, by the way, be the reason why Arsenal have been quiet on him. Maybe PSG, they know that PSG value him that much.
Every time I hear PSG evaluation of Barcola, it increases by like 20 million. First it was like 130. And then, well, first I was hearing it's like going to be 100, 110. Then it got 130. Then it got 150. Now it's 170. Like using Elliot Anderson and Morgan Rogers as yardsticks, that's just terrible. That's such terrible logic.
Which is why I think Arsenal have completely gone off of that.
I think they spoke to PSG and they realized that these guys aren't serious.
Yeah. Again,
Like
it goes by what my logic was last week about Berta, right? He likes to steer clear from the drama, right?
This is like if PSG is trying to like do that nonsense for Barcola, I think going in for Vinicius is 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we only got a few minutes left to go on the show. I want to then kind of touch in on this because Cal, you brought it up. I'm gonna have to swallow my pride because Cal made a great point in terms of Kai, but for the fun of it, because I'm actually just gonna put Julian Alvarez.
I mean, I'm happy with that.
I mean, the only question is how is Arsenal going to fit that in terms of the. See, that's where I'm thinking, Cal. Just from a point of view, we know that it's not 100%.
Nothing's 100%.
By the way, this is not
100%.
Our projection of next year. This is basically we're basing this what could happen based off the rumors, right? Like the last time we did this exercise, I had Rodgers and Barcola in Arsenal starting 11. It looks like neither of them is going to happen. You said that, didn't you, Cal? Fuck me.
That what?
You said neither Rodgers or Barcola. One time, I think you're just pissed. You were just like upset, and you were like, "Man,
well, we're pretty psyched about Vinicius Junior. Like that's a good chance that doesn't happen. There's a good chance it does, but it's a good chance it doesn't. So it's just fun to kind of.
I'd say though, and I'm probably 60-40. He stays at Madrid. 60-40. That's at this point.
To be honest with you, if he I'll be kind of shocked if he just accepts their terms. It just feels like that's kind of not his personality, but I don't know.
Actually, then what do you think? Do you think it's 50-50 or do you think it's more in Arsenal's favor?
I think it's 60-40 he leaves. And then if he leaves, it's like 70% Arsenal. I don't know what's the probability of that.
65%.
No, that's
no way. I'll do it. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, right? So 60% he leaves.
Yeah.
Right. So out of 60%, wait, 60 times 42%.
Okay, let's just see.
The Alva Flawed Grays is unreal here. Rookie, you're not paying attention. You are not paying attention to me. I've been saying.
Oh, that's I have a probability calculator up, right? So I did probability of him leaving 60%. Probability that if he leaves, he joins Arsenal 70%. That's a 40% chance, 42% chance.
That's what I said.
And that's he said?
Yeah, okay, I said 42%.
Sick.
Yeah.
Which is that's pretty good. But I think that's how it is.
Yeah, crazy. So yeah, everything's kind of going on, which is crazy during this thing. But yeah, look, for me, I actually okay. I'm going to end this by saying this.
Vinicius Junior looks better with Alvarez than Gyökeres. Like he just
Cal,
does.
if you, by your logic in terms of the Havertz thing, right? Like you would start with Vinny Jr. and Saka, right?
I would start Havertz.
I can understand why they would trade Alvarez for Gyökeres if that was a theory.
Because the thing is,
I still need Gyökeres to offer me something different.
The thing is, okay, I'm gonna say this: the more links we see and the more targets we confirm, the more we kind of understand what the play is. Zolis being a goal-scoring left winger and Vinicius being a goal-scoring left winger, as I said, means that they're not relying on creativity out left as much, but you know that the goal scoring is going to be coming from the wings. You know what I'm saying? And Alvarez and Havertz just helps with that a lot more. It helps facilitate that. If you're going to spend 100 and
if you've got Nodi Madueke on the right hand side,
no,
and
Madueke,
out,
no,
and you don't have a Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres is still something different. You need to have a plan B. You get what I'm saying?
Wait. Not Madueke. Put the new star boy out on that right hand. No.
What do you mean?
Waneri.
Oh, okay.
Waneri is a goal-scoring right winger.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying with having Alvarez and Gyökeres. Look, to be honest, guys, I'll be quite frank with you. Everyone knows here my position on Victor, right? It's actually for the first time though. Cal has now explained to me something that would make sense. Something versus what a lot of people have been saying about the Gyökeres trade package. By the way, I think it's a bullshit rumor, and I like to have both. And by the way, on the other side of things, with Havertz is wages. If we were going to gain both Vinicius Jr. and Julian Alvarez to the club, dumping Havertz, considering that Alvarez is a similar profile, still makes more sense than dumping Gyökeres.
No, it doesn't actually. Because the Gyökeres and Havertz salaries aren't that far apart. I think they're like there's 50 million between them, and Alvarez fits that. Like Havertz fits that system much better than Gyökeres. By the way, I rate Gyökeres more than I rate Havertz, but I'm looking at the system, and I can't just.
The VINI thing criticized a lot in terms of why we've been penny pinching, why we've been certain rumors have popped up in the circle, all this. Yeah.
We're not building a team to help Gyökeres at all. We're just not.
So, Karuki asks the question here: what exactly do you guys see with Julian L? Anyway, he's an incomplete striker. I'm saying incompetent. He's a second striker, a better version of Jesus. Havertz is so better. So, Cal, you explain because you were trying to.
A better version of Jesus is literally the striker Arteta wants. If Jesus was actually fit, and was actually performing.
If Jesus never got injured at the World Cup in 2022, and he continued in the form he was when he started Arsenal,
I think
that's literally who he bought to play there.
Yeah, I think you're proving me right, Rookie. I think he wants a better version of Jesus in this squad. He wants someone to just drop deep, do the link-up play. Not necessarily is going to score you a ton of goals, but the difference is like Alvarez is capable of giving you like a moments here and there to win you a couple of games a season, but he's going to be really good with the link-up play, that sort of thing. And that's what Arteta wants, dog.
Yeah. At the same time, though, the reason why I wouldn't do a swap deal, right, is because, okay, let's say you even have all three in the building. By the way, I haven't even put Marino on this board, and Marino is like, where do you can't really fit him
Marino
in this
is
midfield
like
setup, even though he's clutch, man. Like honestly, he's so clutch. But like
Marino is the DEFCON 2 tactical nuke.
But like he goes here, he can go here. Like I'm gonna just make like. So this is why I feel like.
To be honest with you, do I want?
You have too many strikes. Like, do you sell Marino? Like,
no. To be honest, I might want Marino to slide under the Eze and just stand on the stand outside the edge of the box. Just
actually,
shoot.
before we go, I just want to build the depth chart just so I could crystallize the picture a little bit. So you've got
no,
dude. I mean,
Waneri.
One was picked to go to England, the other was not. But
you serious?
I'm joking, bro.
No, but like, would you really put Waneri below Madueke at this point?
See,
like if
personally, in terms of player profile, I like Ethan, but I've yet to be proven that Arteta proved. I mean, at the end of the day, last year they're both at the club. Madueke stayed. Ethan went to Marseille.
But we know what Madueke is capable of now.
And then where? By the way, if you're putting Ethan there, then where are we fitting Max?
Max. I don't think Madueke plays that much.
Cal, I'm back right here.
Left wing.
This squad. This is what I'm gonna fill everyone in, and then I'm gonna make a point here, right? Because I'm gonna put Marino back in.
Like I'm gonna put too good of a talent to just not play him, dude. We will lose him, and he will ball.
Yeah, no, but look at this. I'm just gonna get in general. It doesn't really matter, but this squad is starting to look bloated now. Like, and now I've taken out some of the Jesus, Martinellis, Norgards of this world. No way the squad can be this bloated. There's some players in here. I'm like someone's sorry. They are gonna have to make a major sale. And if you think about the wages that Vinicius Jr. would bring in. See, for me, still, Gyökeres Havertz, you could start Havertz to better play Saka and Madueke and Dalman, right? Or Saka and VINI. But Gyökeres is still need a plan B. If plan A is not working, and I just need a guy who's just going to score goals, Gyökeres, I'm not getting, Gyökeres is there. Like, you know what I mean?
Gyökeres... I'm happy. Well, Gyökeres isn't starting over Havertz in this team, but Gyökeres, I'm happy with Havertz Gyökeres if we don't get Alvarez. But I'm telling you right now, if Alvarez tomorrow says I want Arsenal, we will put the money down and he'll become an Arsenal player.
Yeah, I would just find it honestly,
and I don't think Arteta likes him.
This is what's crazy, right? At one point, Real Madrid were thinking of having both Vinny and Alvarez. If Arsenal had both Vinny and Alvarez at the end, regardless of how they fit into the team, that is a massive statement of intent from Arsenal Football Club. Like, forget tactics and this stuff for a second. I don't want to hear anybody. I've heard a lot of Andrea Berta haters this year, by the way, even though he delivered you a title. So, I want to hear some massive apologies.
Oh, the apology starts when he
he's pull him off. He needs to land. There's a lot of there's a lot of posturing here and there, like, oh, he's interested here. They're going to bid here. Like, come on, guys.
I don't know why
we'll bid, but only for our valuation. Like, it's just been a lot of
rookie. You're saying we don't need Alvarez. I know that, but the club loves him, and they want him in.
At the same time, it's rookie. That's one thing I'll be very, very clear on in terms of, for both Cal and I in this show. We generally put our own except for me with the Mayokarez stuff, but we generally put our own wants, what we would do aside, and looking at the links. What is Arsenal doing? We're trying to figure out what Arsenal is doing because we're trying to preview the upcoming season. We're not trying to preview Rookie's game of FIFA career mode. Like you get what I'm saying? You get me? So that's just kind of what the exercise is doing here. I don't know.
Alvarez links isn't going away, and they want him, and Arteta wants him badly. Arteta wants him, and Arteta doesn't like Gyökeres, and that's why he started Havertz in the Champions League final, and that's why he kept subbing off Gyökeres. It's why we were getting really pissed off last season, me and Anton. We're like, dude, why isn't he starting him? Why is he taking him off so early every time? And we know Arteta, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Martinelli, for example, Martinelli for me is on the chopping block because of, like, even when Trossard started to play like badly, went through that rough patch, Martinelli still couldn't get on the pitch.
Martinelli, I would wait to see what happens with our left wing. So if Barcola somehow pushes through, by the way, I don't think that pushes through quick now that so one thing Fabrizio says one thing, right? And then Ben Jacobs goes, they want 170 million euros. And I'm like, that's thing's not pushing through tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not getting done this week.
Sorry. And by the way, Liverpool are like in between directors of football at the moment as well, which makes it extra complication.
Yeah.
That's not Indy Kyla exclusive. Liverpool officials are in Paris to negotiate transfer fee of Bradley Barcola. They could also be in Paris to eat some croissants and drink some hot chocolate. You know what I mean? Like,
Indy Kyla literally keep hinting that he had an exclusive, and then Jacobs and Fab just dropped the bombs like before he could say anything. Anyway, he's just kind of full of shit, to be honest.
Yeah. But we'll have to see. We're having to see. Guys, we're gonna have to get out of here because we're almost at 2.5 hour mark. But yeah, it was again action packed or news packed episode. Again, I'm gonna go back to
the rookie crash out when we get that Alvarez. Here we go is going to be insane, bro. That's going to be legendary. If we get Alvarez, here we go.
I think Rookie and I are in lockstep on this now, right? Get this done first.
Get VINI done, and then I don't really care.
Man,
like Bruno, VINI, and then it's like you could do whatever you want with the rest of your window.
Like, to be honest, I love Barcola, and I know Barcola would love to be at Arsenal, but Vinicius Jr., man. He's the only one of our targets. Like, I never would have thought we'd be able to come out with this window and buy Arsenal's best player, be better than Rice. Rice is better in a whole other different, great in a whole different
yeah.
But you know what I mean, like Vinicius Jr. Like I say, I have a list. These are the 5 best attackers. Cal, maybe you can. This will be the end of the show, but maybe you can correct me. But I'll go back to the ones I kind of said at the start of this. And there's no particular order here. I'm not going to order them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this is the groupings that I've got. Haaland, and by the way, Mbappe, Yamal. I got VINI, and I got Kvaratskhelia.
Did you say Haaland?
Yeah, that was the first one I said.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree with that.
If Arsenal were to get one of those 5 players out of this window,
yeah, I think.
And by the only other player in the league, or maybe even in the world, who has similar attributes to Declan Rice, and then bring him also into the team. By the way, already has chemistry of playing with Barcola. Not Barcola, sorry. I've got Barcola in the brain. With VINI. We would have, can you imagine, remember we used to have Brazilians on like all levels. We had the Gabriels, and all the 3 of the Gabriels. Now, we replaced those 2 Brazilians with these 2 Brazilians that are coming in. You got the Gabriel at the defense Brazilian. Midfielder level, you got Bruno G. And then up front, you got VINI.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That is
that's pretty-
literally the three best players of Brazil, minus Rafinha
Yeah,
and
actually.
Allison. Allison is kind of like on the, but
Yeah,
we're talking
that's
about
not-
in their prime.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Anton, before you go, can you show the total appearances Alvarez had for Athletic and the goal output he has produced? We have done this exercise before, but Julian Alvarez.
The thing is, Julian Alvarez, he scored 10 goals in the champs.
Are we
It's kinda-
talking about last season, rookie,
What? Yeah, he
or
scored like
his
10.
whole career? 2 years at Madrid, right?
I think, like, for example, I don't think Alvarez comes to Arsenal and scores 20 goals in the Prem. I think he scores a cool 12 to 15.
Do you know who I do think comes to Arsenal can score 20 goals in the Prem? Vinicius Jr.
I don't think he can do that.
You don't?
Nah.
He has done that every single year of his career so far. So
Really? 20 plus
Alvarez,
goals?
so here we go. Here's the entire thing. This is the entire career of Alvarez at Atletico Madrid. Through his 2 years at Atletico Madrid, Alvarez has made 66 total appearances, scoring in 25 and providing 8 assists in 2 years. So that's 33 GA in 66 games, which is 1 in 2. That's a great track record.
That's actually not that bad, to be honest. And we're not gonna ask him to be an out-and-out striker anyway. Unless we.
By the way, if you said 29 and 54, it's even better. But you're looking at La Liga and I'm looking at total. But 29 and 54 is even better than what I said, 33 or 66. That's not pathetic at all. That's great.
That's not.
You're
that's
not helping yourself, rookie, to be honest.
And to be honest, when I look at the landscape of what strikers are available and who's like great, like he's better than literally everyone else.
Mm.
You're not telling me, Balogun is better than Julian Alvarez. You're not telling me any of these guys. Like no one. Krupi isn't better than him. Like Krupi's 100 million because there's no one around. Krupi shouldn't be even close to that. Olise
That's why I don't think
is
Arsenal's going to do
rookie saying check Olise and Uppers. Dude, Olise is literally the best. Like he's one of the best wingers in the world right now. Like on form, he's the best winger in the world. On form.
Funny, I
said
actually
on
thought
form.
Barcola outplayed him in terms of goal output in the World Cup. But yeah, but he had led the assists. He had the most assists of the World Cup, Olise. So interesting. Anyway, guys, we got to end this. We got to end the stream here, guys. We can talk about this for 8 hours and hours and hours. But yeah, guys, let us know. I put it in the poll. I'm actually going to close the poll off now. At the start of the show, I said, will Vinny Jr. be an Arsenal player by the end of the window? 71% said yes.
Wow. Positive.
Out of 35
positive group.
votes. So
Positive group.
yeah, positive group. We shall see. Should be an interesting week of transfer news. So keep it locked here, guys. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Turn on notification. Hey, maybe both of these major stories, the VINI and the BRUNO, we will see developments over the week. Obviously, you're going to watch for what happens with that Real Madrid meeting. So I think after that happens, I think a lot of people are going to come out. Now watch out for who is saying what, because there are a lot of people who will talk a lot of crap who aren't great sources and trying to make it the guessing game to see if they can get it right or wrong. Watch for, I feel like that is when Fabrizio starts talking, or something like that. Watch out for, obviously, Ornstein, who broke this story. And that's something that's the biggest part to keep an eye on, is that it was Ornstein who broke the story. It wasn't Ben Jacobs. It wasn't name a bunch of other ones. It was Ornstein. And we shall see. So interesting, guys. Yeah, again, we'll have anything breaks, we will be here. Otherwise, we'll have another show later on in the week as well, guys. And I'm sure we have a lot to talk about then, because as I keep looking at it, there are stuff breaking all the time. Anyway, guys, until the next time, guys, keep it cool. We out of here.
See ya.